Apple Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hey! We did it. We're back on a Monday. Tom and Bock, Tom Stevens, Jake Bockoven. How are you, Jake?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Your mic is your mic.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. College football
Take two.
championship game. Yeah. Oh man, this the handoff always screws me up with these ones.
Yeah, it did the same thing back in the day. That happened to me 4 times a week because we changed mics during the handoff, and so the handoff is usually fumbled every week.
It seems to be fumbled. I think that's two shows in a row.
Another fumble. My Keith Jackson.
That's a pretty good Keith Jackson.
Thank you. That's about the only part. I got it from Roy Firestone. Remember Roy Firestone? Did impressions, had a show on ESPN for a while, and he did a pretty good Keith Jackson. And the ball's given off to Herschel Walker. He rolls around the right side, and he's hitting, corrected. Fumble! That's all I've got.
That's pretty good. Your "Whoa Nelly" is really what.
Nelly.
That's Keith Jackson right there.
That's all I've got. That's so. How was your weekend?
Oh, not too bad. Like I said, the college football weekend was pretty fun. I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts. It looks like Alabama's going to win the national championship again. But other than that, more football.
That's right. I don't think it's a given that Alabama's going to win the national title. I still like Georgia. And I know that they didn't win that game. Alabama was highly motivated. You know, the whole rat poison comment from Nick Saban. They were motivated because nobody thought they would win that game. They got a great performance from Bryce Young. That guy's the real deal. But Mechie's not going to be available now. Here's the secret. You double Jamison Williams. I know it's not easy, but you double that guy. You take him away. Who else is going to beat you? Probably, 5 other 5-stars.
Yeah, they got plenty of guys.
Yeah, they've got other guys.
Next year's guy that'll be a first-round draft.
I'm just saying, it's been unpredictable all season long. Why would we expect anything different in the college football playoff?
I think that we always do this with Alabama, right? I think between Saban's 7 titles, I think it is there, which it sounds ridiculous to say. I think he had 2 of them that were undefeated seasons, but every other time, these teams have flaws most of the time. They do lose a game, and then we get all the loss and who's going to win. And then Alabama goes out there, and when it matters most, when they're playing right now, they're playing better than anybody. And that's what happened. I mean, Georgia's defense, we've heard all along. I mean, holding opponents to 7 points per game, you can't take that back. You can argue on behalf of making tweaks. I think JT Daniels might be a better go at it than Stetson Bennett. They've just kind of stuck with Bennett because they've been winning that way. He gives them a little more versatility in running the ball around. But Daniels, I think, is a better passer. And of course,
neither one is great.
Neither one's great.
That's the same
that's
program.
The problem. Yeah.
Their offense is the problem. It is boring. It is boring and terrible. Don't forget, that's the program that said Justin Fields can't play here.
Well, they had Jake Fromm, but that's the point. I think they're doing it again. I think they're starting the guy that's helping them as long as they're winning, but they're not necessarily getting the best guy out there. I think JT Daniels is a little better, but like you said, neither of them are great. But the other thing is George Pickens. George Pickens is their equalizer. He had 1 big catch, and the broadcasters kept going back to it. Where's that guy? That was their receiver that coming into the season was like an All-American type, and he missed most of the season. I understand the injuries, but he had 1 big play, and then he hardly saw the field after that.
Well, it was fun to see Iowa get blown out. I enjoyed that, even though I don't like Harbaugh. I don't like Michigan. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought the Georgia game, obviously Georgia-Alabama was a great game. It was a fun weekend, and now we get the college football playoff. I really wish Oklahoma State had gotten another inch. I mean, how do you have 1st and goal at the 1-yard line and not be able to score? And they didn't. I mean, that was kind of a choke job, what Oklahoma State did in that game. I think it would have been a much better conversation yesterday from the committee if it's Oklahoma State versus Cincinnati, and who would have gotten
Who gets
in.
in? Yeah, it'd have been a lot more interesting yesterday.
Because I think it might have been Oklahoma State. Either way, you would have had an angry fan base on either side and an angry college football world. And I think college football is healthier when people are angry.
Yeah, you need the debate. You need the people to talk about it. But I think it's incredible, too. The fact that there is no debate and Cincinnati's number 4, where I'll just kind of say, well, whatever. That's not whatever. I mean, I've been told for years, no team outside the Power 5 will ever get in. And now Cincinnati's in.
It took a lot for that to happen.
But they did everything that we told those teams to do. Build up your profile. Year over year, this can't be a 1-year thing. Otherwise, we're not going to buy into you. Schedule non-con opponents that are going to be impressive. They did that with Notre Dame, Indiana. Indiana didn't end up being very good, but they did that. And then hope that the dominoes fall in your position, because more often than not in college football, if you go undefeated, there's not going to be 3-4 undefeated teams in the Power 5. So you're going to have your opportunity. Cincinnati did everything right, and they completed the mission. They got a non-Power 5 team into the college football playoff, and then the other thing is, from there, where's the money go? Because the money always goes to those conferences. Does the Americans spread it out? Is South Florida getting some of this, or does this go to the Big 12? Because would Cincinnati even be in? Would they be respected enough if they weren't a shoe-in to the Big 12 in a few years?
You think the Big 12 should get the money?
I think the new Big 12 teams that are going into the Big 12 should get the money. Because maybe without that, maybe they wouldn't be getting in.
Yeah, the Big 12, that would be a funny court case. That the Big 12 lobbies to get the money that Cincinnati earned in the AAC. That would be fantastic if that actually happened. Because they won't be even going, I don't think, for a couple of years. It doesn't sound like. The Big 12 won't get Cincinnati for a while. But that would be a fun story if Cincinnati beats Alabama. They won't. But then I went into the Alabama-Georgia game saying Alabama's not going to win. I was dead wrong. I just think don't be surprised if there's more surprises. Because that's kind of what college football has been this year. But we won't see it until New Year's Eve. We have to wait until my anniversary. That's my anniversary.
Oh, that's right. Well, you did that to yourself.
Yeah, we did. But that was fun.
That was awesome.
You were there. That was a great party.
Yeah.
We had hell to pay. The band was there. I was really worried because Michigan State was playing Alabama on New Year's Eve. I think Oklahoma had already lost to Clemson earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But that was the late game, and it was during my wedding. And I was really, really worried that was going to be, everybody's going to just be huddled around the TV all night long.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was a terrible game because Alabama blew them out and nobody missed it.
Michigan State didn't even score that night.
Thank you, Alabama. Thank you, Alabama, for that on my wedding night. The Vikings still suck, in case you missed it. They lost on the very last play of the game. This is what it sounded like on the radio. I think this is the Lions' call of the game yesterday.
There's Hawkinson inside. Here we go. Goff from the gun to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown.
That's the short version. The Vikings, Paul, I forget his name, but he would have been much more homerish. I like it when they're really homerish. But the Vikings are not going to obviously make the playoffs because they're really terrible. Now they're 5-7, but the Lions won't go without a victory this year. They won their first game of the year, beating the Vikings 29-27. It's painful. I mean, you think it's painful being a Vikings fan, but man, I don't have to put up with what the Lions do. Even in a win, like they're celebrating that thing.
Yeah.
Like that's actually kind of sad.
It's really sad.
They're 1-10, and they are celebrating like there's no tomorrow. Like Dan Campbell is like, this is fantastic. It's so hard to win in this league. And he's crying. He's crying all the time.
Yeah.
He's like Dick Vermeil. He cries all the time. But I kind of like the guy. So I was actually kind of happy for Detroit and laughing at my Vikings.
I saw a video of Jared Goff's girlfriend. She was out on like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot. And so they showed her the play, like it happened, and she was just overcome with joy. Yeah. And it was like, they needed that. That was their first win. Like, yeah.
Well, you had to work with Brett Kane, and he was a long-suffering Detroit Lions fan.
Oh, yeah. He kind of leans into it. He drinks, so he can't remember the Lions games. And, and that's the only way to really path to go about it for that franchise.
You got to get drunk to watch your team. That's pretty tough. That's really tough. But as I always say, you pick your team when you're 6 and you stick with them.
Yep.
The only rule is if they leave you. If they leave you, then you can leave them. But you have to pick your team. You have tell your 6 to look around.
6 is pretty young.
That's when I became a Vikings fan.
Oh, okay.
So that's my rule. Maybe an exemption until you're 8. I don't know.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
I think that's
whenever maybe you start following sports.
But you can't leave them unless they leave you. Like the Kansas City Omaha Kings left me for Sacramento. That's the only team I've ever left. They left me. I didn't leave them. Honda of Lincoln hotline 464-5685. Starter Heyman text line 464-5685 as well. Love to hear from you today. Because Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. Do you think they got it right? I mean, in that order.
I mean, you could argue Michigan. I think they're just trying to avoid have the semifinal be the same as the SEC championship game. So I think in that way, and that's just a preference whether you want that or not. I'd rather not. So I like the way that they did it. You could argue Michigan number 1, but I think Alabama probably deserves it for knocking off number 1. So yeah, I think they got it right, and I think it's exciting. Like you said, maybe you're not expecting a great team between Alabama and Cincinnati, but there you go. There's everybody that wants the expanded playoffs wants that matchup, right? The big upset of all time would be Cincinnati, despite being undefeated, beating Alabama. So you have a chance for that, and I think Georgia, Michigan will match up really well. I think, and we typically have a horrible quarterfinal games or whatever. I think that one is set up to be a good one.
I think Georgia should have been 4th. I think there should have been a rematch. I think the committee went out of their way to make sure there was not a rematch. They're not supposed to do that, but I think they did. I would have put Georgia 4th and Cincinnati 3rd. But otherwise, I don't really have a problem with it. I think Michigan-Georgia will be a great game. I think they're 2 very similar styles, 2 very similar teams. I think Alabama will blow out Cincinnati. They're a 13.5-point favorite, and I think it's going to be more than that. I think Bryce Young is the best player in college football, and I don't think they're just giving it to the best player on the best team. I think he's just a really great quarterback. That guy's got an arm.
Yeah, he definitely won the Heisman Saturday night. Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, I get the argument that it's just the best player on the best team, but that's, I mean, unless somebody else sticks out, like what are you going to choose? And I think Bryce Young earned it. He's kind of been there by default for a long time. I mean, they only scored 3 in regulation a couple weeks ago. I mean, so he's not overwhelming is the thing.
But he drove them 97 yards when they had to have a touchdown.
He did. And that's important, but you can't overlook like 3.5 quarters of being shut out. So I mean, he's not overwhelming, and him and of course CJ Stroud were kind of just there by default because their numbers were great and they played with great teams. And then the Michigan game happened that knocked CJ Stroud kind of out of the race, and Bryce Young capitalized. If he had a poor game and lost to Georgia and only scored like 6 points, I wonder where the Heisman would go. I would be befuddled. I would not know who to choose.
I wonder if you could leave after 1 year. He might leave. I mean, you can't leave until 3 years in. This is only his second year. He redshirted, I think, at Alabama last year. That guy looks like he's NFL ready to me. And maybe I'm overstating it. I know he's got all the talent in the world around him, but he also has a big arm. He can move in the pocket. He is what today's NFL quarterback is looking more like.
Yeah.
He reminds me of some of the, the not Spencer Rattler, but he reminds me more of a Kyler Murray, of a Baker Mayfield, of where the NFL is headed with quarterbacks. I think he'll have a lot of success going forward, both in college and in the league. I really like the guy. And I was one of those people who thought, I don't know. He's fine. No, he's really good.
I do like when guys have a chance to repeat as Heisman when they come back the next year. So that'll be fun too.
Hasn't happened since Archie Griffin. So
yeah, as far as somebody winning it, but there's been guys that have the chance that just didn't get it done. Tim Tebow seemed like a lock, So I mean, it's always hard. It's just hard to win 2 of those, obviously, back to back.
He feels like he could. We got to get to break. Come back with Stephen M. Sipple. We'll talk some Husker football. The Mickey Joseph hire. We haven't had a chance to talk to him about that. But there's a lot of stuff in the works for Husker football, and we'll discuss it with Stephen M. Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Welcome to today's episode of The Great Unknowns. Last time we talked about why chickens can't just cross the road in peace. Today's topic is the great unknowns of the future. Like, am I ready for what life throws at me? Well, that answer is easy. Just call a local State Farm agent. State Farm agents will help you plan for the what-ifs in life so you know what to expect if the unexpected happens. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. High school basketball kicked off this week, and here are December 2nd scores for the boys. Lincoln East won in a one-possession game over Elkhorn South, 62-60. It was the center Carter Templemeyer from East that scored the last basket with 2 seconds left to put East in front. Carter would also lead all scorers with 17. Lincoln Lutheran fell to Grand Island CC, 61-45. Lincoln Northeast dominated South Sioux City, 78-46. Lincoln Pius coasted to a win over Fremont, 69-46. Lincoln Southeast just got by Millard South in a win, 49-46. Lincoln Southwest also won, beating Papillion La Vista South, 70-64. The Silverhawks never relinquished the lead in the second half, led by Ryland Smith, as he was the leading scorer for them behind his 21 points. Millard North put up 74 points in a win over Lincoln High, 74-45. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com, proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
At Mountain Dew, we support the best and baddest disaster relief group in America, Team Rubicon. To show our support of Team Rubicon, Mountain Dew put in $1 million. And now you can help Team Rubicon too. Look for specially marked Team Rubicon bottles of Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Enter for a chance to win weekly prizes at MountainDewTR.com and donate to Team Rubicon. You'll earn exclusive rewards when you do. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 and older. Subject to rules at MountainDewTR.com. Ends 10/3/2020.
At the Nebraska Ag Expo, we're passionate about sharing all the latest and greatest innovations and technologies that agriculture has to offer to help increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Grab your neighbor and come on out to this year's show. Visit with nearly 1,700 ag experts, all under one roof. December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center. Register online for free admission at nebraskaagexpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
This year, show her she's the one with 1 carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1 carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1 carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock, Tom Stevens, Jake Bachhoven there. Jay Norvell, former Nebraska assistant under Bill Callahan, has moved from Nevada to Colorado State within the same conference. You don't see that happen very often.
No, you don't. But Colorado State paid their outgoing coach Steve Adazio a lot more money. He made about 1.5. Jay Norvell was making like 625 at Nevada. So it's I think it's a step up in money. But for what it's worth, Nevada being in that same conference under Jay Norvell beat Colorado State 52-10 this year. So now he's got to walk across that sideline and rebuild.
Other news in college football: Brett Venables over the weekend announced as the new Oklahoma coach. Manny Diaz, we knew he was going to be out, but now Mario Cristobal has replaced him. That's an odd thing to do. I understand Mario Cristobal played at Miami, but Oregon is a way better job than Miami currently is.
Maybe he's scared of Lincoln Riley, and the ACC is wide open.
That's right. He's a fraidy cat. He's scared of Lincoln Riley.
Or he might just be afraid of continuing to play against Utah, who beats them up every time they play him.
Drum.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, hey, you know what? I'll just try to do 7 years of this gig in college football. I'll get as much money as I possibly can, keep ahead of the posse, get contracts, and then I'll do what Ed Orgeron has done. Just retire.
We'll see. I mean, it is. I mean, there's a problem with your alumni or whatever your heart. You go back to your heart, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
and but let's not act like that's a bad job.
No,
I mean,
it's a good job.
They need the athletic. I don't even know if they have an athletic director right now, so it's been kind of a mess. They didn't fire Manny Diaz until they got somebody else, which not the worst. I guess is a pretty good idea, just very unconventional.
Right.
I like it though. I think it's a solid hire.
Let's ask Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Is Miami still a good job at college football?
I think Miami's trying to make it a really good job, which I mean, if you think about it, Miami's making it looks like it from my standpoint that they're really trying to ramp things up there. And if they're committed to football, yeah, I think there's a lot of promise there. And I know what you'd say. Well, haven't they always been? Yeah, I think they always have been, but I think they're ramping it up. So that, hiring Mario Cristobal, going after high-profile ADs, all that suggests that they've ramped up the seriousness. And when you're in a city like Miami, a vibrant city, and let's face it, the Southeast is where they play the best football in America. You can, I think there's great promise there.
And it looked like there might have been some great promise for the roster coming back next year, but it seems like for Nebraska, they're losing guys left and right. It feels like, at least it feels like a bigger hit each and every one. Damian Daniels, the latest to go ahead and give a shot at the NFL. How big of a loss is Damian Daniels for Nebraska's goals next year?
Oh, I think his best football is ahead of him. And we'll see on that. I don't know. I mean, some of this depends on whether they lose DeAndre Thomas too. I think if DeAndre Thomas would stay, then I don't know that it's a huge loss. It kind of depends on, I think Nash Hutmacher could be pretty good. I don't know that there'll be a big drop off there. We're not talking about an all conference player. We're not talking about anything near an all conference player. Damian Daniels, I'm not saying he's making the wrong decision. I think it's good. I think he sees his brother, his brother's on the practice squad of the 49ers making a living doing this, and maybe that's what he wants to do. But I don't look at that one as, you know, I wouldn't look at that one like I'd look at Cam Jurgens. You know, Cam Jurgens is I mean, I've written it, so I don't mind saying it. He's contemplating leaving and probably leaning that direction. That one to me is much, much more significant.
Well, you've got a lot of guys leaving. Ben Stilley is gone. Obviously, JoJo. We knew those guys would be gone. Deontay Williams, Markel Dismuke, Adrian, Damian Daniels, DeAndre Thomas possibly could leave. We know that CTB is gone. Cam Jurgens is considering. They've got to at least get a few of those guys back. Like Cam, of all those, they've got to get Cam Jurgens back, I would think.
Yeah, and I think that's a long shot at this point. So yeah, they're losing, but you know, in this world, you can go in the transfer portal and get guys. I mean, it's not. I don't look at these. I mean, all the guys you reeled off were most of the guys we knew were leaving.
Yeah.
I keep hearing people say that there's going to be this mass exodus. That's not what I hear. So I don't know. I worry less about roster attrition in this day and age because you can go get guys. You just got to get the right guys. But there's plenty of examples of teams that have done that, and none of these guys. I mean, you can go in the portal and find a Damian Daniels. I mean, that's not the hardest thing to do. We're talking about an honorable mention all conference player.
No.
I mean, I don't want to. He was a good player at Nebraska, but I mean, that's not going to. You know, that kind of loss doesn't cave in the program.
No.
I mean, now we're still kind of looking for the hires. Obviously, Mickey Joseph is hired. We want to get your opinion on that, but still kind of waiting for the offensive coordinator thing. A lot of people thought, well, maybe he's coaching this weekend. Are we going to expect to hear that news around the corner, or do you think it still might take some time?
Oh yeah, hey Bock, I think they would. Nebraska, you know, Scott Frost and you know his program and those helping him, Matt Davison, would like for this to be wrapped up Wednesday or Thursday. That seems optimistic based on what I'm hearing. Things would really have to fall into place quickly. But I do think, I mean, everything I'm hearing, and we'll have more today. We'll have more today in the Journal-Star. Everything I'm hearing, man, I'll tell you what, if it falls into place with the guys that I know they're talking to, it's going to be pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if it will, and that's kind of why I hedge a little bit. But if it does, man, I mean, it would be impressive.
Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star is our guest. We mentioned Mickey Joseph as the pass game coordinator. He'll obviously be an assistant on this staff, a big get. You talked to Ed Orgeron about Mickey Joseph and his recruiting acumen, and obviously he loved him. Does it give you any clues, the hire of Mickey Joseph, about where this offense is going?
That's a good question. Not really. I mean, not really. I just hope that what I hope is, Tom, is that Scott has a clear focus in that regard. And I think he does. I know that they wanted to run the ball. Like you're hearing Graham Harrell, for instance, and that's real. That talk's real. And everybody says, well, what? It's the air raid. Well, I mean, no. I mean, they're not going to run a Mike Leach offense in Nebraska. Scott's intent on running the ball well. And if he's not, then he's not the right coach. Okay. I mean, that's what it boils down to. You got to run the ball in this league. It was proven if you watched Michigan, Ohio State, if you watched the Big Ten championship game, and I'm not, Scott knows what he's doing. He's talked about it going clear back to July. So I think he has a clear focus in this hiring process. And then when it settles down, I hope that he remains focused and has a clear vision for what he wants in that offense. His offense is very multiple. And I mean, I'm of the mind he's got to narrow the focus a little bit. And we'll just see how that shakes out. So to answer your question, I don't think so, Tom. I don't know that Mickey offers up any clues. I love the hire of Mickey because of there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I just think Mickey wants to be here. I think he's going to get a 3-year deal. He's at a good point of his career. I think at age 53, he's seen a lot. I like the idea of hiring veteran coaches, guys like that in their 50s that have seen so much, and he's so proven as a recruiter. I mean, that was the value of the Orgeron article. I thought was just, I mean, it's not just talk. I mean, he's nailed down some of the best receivers in America. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. He went in and got it, the number 1 ranked player in Mississippi, which LSU's never done. He worked hard. He had to work hard to get those guys. Those guys just don't, come on. I mean, they don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to LSU and Mickey Joseph is the benefactor of that. You have to go get them, and you have, because there's hot competition in that area of the country for players. It's the best football in America down there, and players want to stay down there. And they're not going to go to one school.
What do you think about that wide receiver room that he has to work with? I think most people would be more excited to see kind of what he can do with Xavier Betts and maybe bring him up, but maybe even an Omar Manning, maybe get more out of his NFL body, or, what do you think of that room coming back?
Well, that's what, I mean, you start with those two guys, and I think Mickey, I would hope those two guys would be excited to look at what Mickey's done. I haven't really thought about that, Bock, but now that you bring it up, I think that would be, I think those guys, particularly those two, but not just those two, but those two in particular would be thrilled about this, because they look at Mickey's track record with receivers. And I don't want to, the one thing some coaches really, really bristle when you just talk about their recruiting acumen and not their coaching acumen. I'm sure Mickey, I mean, he had to do a good job with those guys. You don't produce those numbers that those guys produced without some good coaching. So, yeah, those two, I mean, I would start with those guys. Now, I mean, I think they got to go in the portal, guys, and get a couple more, because the true freshmen in that class, I just think you might need to recruit over a couple of those guys, and maybe recruit over a couple of those guys and maybe go into the portal and get them. But yeah, they have two pretty good bodies there in Betts and Manning that if you keep cultivating that talent, sky's the limit with those two.
Steve Sipple is our guest. Well, they're probably going to go into the portal as well to get a quarterback. We know Adrian has already visited Kansas State. I think Cal is on his list as well. Maybe UCLA down the road. His girlfriend does go to Kansas State, so that's a lot of people's picks. What's your pick? Where does he end up?
I'd like to see him in the Big 12. I don't know if I have a clear-cut choice. I want to see him go to a place where he gets good protection, and a place that does let him run. Mainly, I want to see him go to a place where he gets good protection, has a good group of receivers. And I hope that's what he's looking for. A really good. I hope he goes to a place where he has the things that he largely lacked at Nebraska for most of the time. Go to a place that has like a big-time all-conference receiver or receivers, a running back that can really help him, and he gets consistently good protection. I hope that's what he's looking for, because I really believe he can finish this out on a high note.
Now, championship weekend didn't give us too much drama. I mean, the four teams that are in kind of looks like everybody's choices there. But I guess I'll just ask you this. I thought we were going to get a break maybe from Alabama winning the national championship this year. Do you think they're the favorite going in?
Well, that's a good question. Not resoundingly. That John Mechie injury is concerning to Alabama. They're not quite as loaded up at receiver as they have been. Jamison Williams is obviously incredible. Slade Bolden is a tough kid, good, but he's not a big body, super fast, surefire NFL guy like Jamison Williams. Bock, they're just okay at running back. Brian Robinson's I like him. He's a big running back. I like that, but he's not, he doesn't scare you like Najee Harris did. This is a coaching job. This is a fabulous coaching job by the best who's ever done it in college football, because Nick Saban had to manage a lot of some kind of holes in the roster a little bit more than usual. And the fact that he got that team ready against Georgia and they put up 41 points is mostly a tribute to Nick Saban, but also to that quarterback. who won the Heisman on Saturday. And I watched the game, and I would challenge you to watch that game and find one bad decision that kid made.
Yeah.
He went through a game without making a bad decision. If you're an NFL, now he's only 6 foot, which is mildly concerning, but if you're an NFL personnel man, I watched that game, and that kid does not make bad decisions. It's really impressive. Man, he's impressive.
No, he's got a gun. I think the guy's going to be.
Well, he got a gun too. Yeah. That helps.
And if he could go to the NFL after just 2 years of college, he would. But he's got to stay another year, and he might win Heisman's back to back because I think, as you just mentioned, he nailed down the Heisman. He's won it.
He nailed it, and he deserves it. He's that caliber of player.
Yeah.
And to put up 41 on that defense, it was mostly about that. It was mostly about Bryson. It was.
Yeah.
That guy's he's an amazing player.
Yeah, he's a stud. Great stuff, Steve. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day, man.
There you go. We didn't even get to basketball discussions with Steve.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to talk about. The coaching carousel, I think, is where that's where their heads are at right now. We'll focus more on basketball. Definitely later on today, I think Hoiberg is speaking to the media, and they play Michigan tomorrow. Michigan, no Brady Hope. But Juwan Howard is pretty good. Oh, yeah. They've been disappointing. I think it's a game Nebraska will probably win because nothing makes sense about Nebraska basketball.
Hunter Dickinson's coming off a heck of a game, though.
Yeah, that guy's a beast. He's really, really big. I hope I'm not getting a cold again.
Not again.
It feels like it will not leave me. But I'll fight through, Bock. You can't stop me. Or Rico. It is time for the blog jog after these messages from your local sponsors.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Welcome to today's episode of The Great Unknowns. Last time, we talked about why chickens can't just cross the road in peace. Today's topic is the great unknowns of the future. Like, am I ready for what life throws at me? Well, that answer is easy. Just call a local State Farm agent. State Farm agents will help you plan for the what-ifs in life so you know what to expect if the unexpected happens. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rather blustery start to the work week. Highs this afternoon only around 32. North winds gusting 15 to 25 will make it feel even colder with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low dropping down to around 26. Might even see a few flurries across the region. Will rebound to 41 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Don't forget about your feet this holiday season. Brown Shoe Fit has all the familiar and trendy brands to bring you comfort during the shopping season. And they also make great gifts. From the always popular Sorrel boots to new shoes like Hey Dudes and On Performance shoes, Brown Shoe Fit has it all. It's not just that, though. They have UGG blankets and UGG boots for your significant other or warm Nordic beach coats. That's all at Brown Shoe Fit, 66th and Q.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
You've suffered a setback due to an illness, an injury, a stroke. Therapy Plus is here for you. Madonna Therapy Plus provides world-class outpatient physical, speech, and occupational therapy. From a minor sprain to complex medical conditions, our therapy experts can help you return to the activities you enjoy. Don't let your wellness wait. If therapy is what you need, Madonna Therapy Plus in Omaha and Lincoln is ready to help. Learn more at therapyplus.madonna.org.
This year, show her she's the one with 1-carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1-carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1-carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street. Lincoln's Mega Liquidation Store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is The Blog Job on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What'd you make of Stephen M. Sippel's tease of the potential coaching staff?
Oh, I liked it.
Like the names that I'm hearing, man, you're really I can't tell you, but you're really going to like it. It's almost like when your parents as a kid would say, man, you're going to love what you're getting for Christmas. It's going to be amazing. Big surprise. Well, tell me. No, can't tell you. You're going to have to wait till Christmas. And then you open it up on Christmas and think, well, it's a nice gift. But it wasn't the train set that I asked for.
Christmas was a lot better when you couldn't afford to buy your own stuff. You know what I mean? Like you would have to rely on somebody else to get it for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of the joy of Christmas, because now if you're an adult and you really want something, you're just like, I'll just go get it.
Did you guys ever get the stuff like that you needed that you never wanted? Like, here's your underwear. Congratulations. There's mom would just get stuff that she was going to buy me anyway.
Oh yeah.
I never got underwear. I got socks and shirts. I never got underwear.
Oh, socks always.
But I always got the cologne kits.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Did you like Brute?
I never used
Fabergé?
any of them.
Yeah, you never did.
I never opened them. I think I still have like 5.
To this day, have you ever used cologne?
Yes. But I've bought like my own cologne. I've never used a cologne kit.
I'm not a big cologne guy.
I'm not
no.
a cologne guy either.
I think sometimes I walk by a guy and I think, God, that guy smells good, but
You never ask him what he's wearing?
You ever ask?
No, I never.
Rico wears cologne. Do you ever ask Rico?
I have not worn cologne since college.
Oh.
Yeah, I just don't know. There's not much of a reason to wear cologne.
Yeah, I've never asked another man what he's wearing because he smells really fantastic. Yeah. Boy, you smell good.
I want to smell like you smell.
Yeah, it might be a little weird.
Yeah,
just a little bit though.
Yeah. What do you got on the blog, John?
Yeah, I've got some stuff and some things.
Oh, excellent.
I'm wondering what kind of gift your dream offensive coordinator is. That's my question for you, Tom.
Would you be okay with a Graham Harrell air raid offense? I mean,
I would look. I have already been
heard of as saying that I would enjoy Spencer Rattler here. So if you give me an air raid offense with Spencer Rattler, sign me up immediately.
I would love to see the Army offensive coordinator hired.
It doesn't make sense with Mickey Joseph.
It makes no sense. But I want it. I want it.
Why get a guy who has created so many NFL wide receivers and then run a triple option?
Well, it does make sense for Mickey Joseph when he was recruited to Nebraska. That was a triple option quarterback.
Yes, but not right now.
He can coach it.
But
it's a year for experiments. I like how we can say everything from air raid to triple option offense and be like, yeah, that could work. Sure, why not? Because
yeah, you can run a
season.
triple option offense if you want this to be your last year. Go ahead.
Well, I think they're gonna. I don't
Go ahead.
know if it matters much what they run. We'll see.
Whatever, man. This one comes from the Straits Times. A scientific team is turning cockroaches into life-saving cyborg bugs at disaster sites.
Okay, explain.
They are like putting the cockroaches to sleep and then putting like a bunch of electronics on their backs with like cameras and such, and then they just like send them out.
And what do they do?
They have little cameras, so then they can like the cockroaches just going around. They don't control the cockroaches; they're just kind of going around. And then you see somebody on the camera, you're like, oh, the cockroach, and you can like track them with the stuff. So you're like, oh, it went this way, and then you saw like a person, and if it's an earthquake, you saw a person under this rubble, like right here, and okay, this is where we need to go.
They also have a microphone where you can talk to the cockroaches. Move a little to the right. Move over in that direction. Thank you. Appreciate it. I wonder if cockroaches are similar to ants, where they have superhuman strength or super cockroach strength.
They must, because I was just thinking about that. Like, how heavy is the camera? How do you get it on?
It is a 5.5 gram backpack consisting of several sensors, including those that can warn of the presence of gases such as carbon dioxide.
I wonder, with the cameras being on their back, it helps us because we get a camera view of what's going on. But what happens when they get so strong, they just take over the world because they have the backpack on their back.
Well, you can.
They're lifting weights all the time.
Well, I mean, you can track them. So then, if you have a fear of them getting too strong, you can just squish them. Problem solved.
Yeah, you hire other cockroaches to squish those.
Yes.
With bigger backpacks.
Stronger cockroaches.
I feel bad for any bugs. I try not to kill anything. But if it's in my house, that's the wrong
I will kill any bug in my house. Outside of my house, as long as you're not too close, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if there's a spider and I'm just like, you look like you want to come in my house, I'm going to crush it.
So you're one of those people. I mean, there are those people that will catch bugs or mice and just release them into the world.
Yeah.
But then they get back into the house. That happened to my place, at my old place, with bats. Like, I would release them outside, and then they would just fly back in the building. So I finally...
Let's at least go in that house. He doesn't kill us.
I caught a couple, and then I waited for the Humane Society, and they never showed up, so I had to kill it, which is a felony.
And now you're admitting to it.
That's right. And now, I'm going to jail right after this show.
Statute of limitations.
That was years ago.
It happened long ago. Don't say how many years, Tom. It happened long ago.
Yeah. You need your lawyer present for that.
No, that's right.
Anything you say can and will be held against
I've already said too much. What else you
got? This one comes from Fox 28 Media. San Francisco is suspending cannabis tax to help dispensaries compete with drug dealers.
Can you say that again?
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
They're suspending the tax that dispensaries have to pay
to
sell marijuana because drug dealers are selling it for cheaper.
They're undercutting.
And they want the dispensaries to be where people go to get their weed, instead of going to drug dealers.
I can't imagine buying drugs illegally if you could go buy them legally. Doesn't it seem like
cheaper?
They're cheaper. Why would you take more of a legal risk?
That's right.
Nobody's going to question
Plus, you
where
don't know
you got
what's
it
in
from.
Yeah, Bock makes a good point.
Look, if it's legal there to smoke it, nobody's going to question why you're smoking it or where you got it from.
I always say one of the most important things in life is a reliable drug dealer.
That's right.
And there's no more reliable drug dealer than the government.
That's right.
Well said. Maybe I should review some of those things. I don't know. I'm still working on it.
Something,
Rico.
government, something.
Appreciate it. Box Tops, the best of the weekend. All the guys.
Championship weekend.
It was championship weekend, and the best of the weekend with Box Tops is on the way next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
You've suffered a setback due to an illness, an injury, a stroke. Therapy Plus is here for you. Madonna Therapy Plus provides world-class outpatient physical, speech, and occupational therapy. From a minor sprain to complex medical conditions, our therapy experts can help you return to the activities you enjoy. Don't let your wellness wait. If therapy is what you need, Madonna Therapy Plus in Omaha and Lincoln is ready to help. Learn more at therapyplus.madonna.org.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Rather blustery start to the work week. Highs this afternoon, only around 32. North winds gusting 15 to 25 will make it feel even colder with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low dropping down to around 26. Might even see a few flurries across the region. Will rebound to 41 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
At Mountain Dew, we support the best and baddest disaster relief group in America, Team Rubicon. To show our support of Team Rubicon, Mountain Dew put in $1 million. And now you can help Team Rubicon too. Look for specially marked Team Rubicon bottles of Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Enter for a chance to win weekly prizes at MountainDewTR.com and donate to Team Rubicon. You'll earn exclusive rewards when you do. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 and older. Subject to rules at MountainDewTR.com. Ends 10/3/2020.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hour number 2 of Tom and Bock. Nebraska volleyball is headed to the Sweet 16. A couple of victories over Campbell, then Florida State on Saturday night. And now they'll face Illinois this Thursday night. If you want to stay up, it's kind of late on ESPNU at 8:30. Then Nebraska will play the winner of the Washington-Texas game, I believe, on Saturday night. So Thursday, Saturday, they give you a day off.
Yeah.
I don't think they did in the first round. It was because it was Friday, Saturday, but this is a Thursday, Saturday thing. So Nebraska's already beaten Illinois twice this year. Hard to beat the same team. They always say 3 times in a row.
That's right. They say that.
They do say that. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny Rogers and the family of Johnny. He was hospitalized with COVID over Thanksgiving morning, apparently at Nebraska's Medical Center, Nebraska Medical Center. And so we wish the 72 Heisman winner, wish him well. I hope he gets better quickly. Johnny Rogers hospitalized. We've got a new thing we kind of do every so often, maybe every hour, sometimes just when we want to. It's called Box Briefs. There it is.
Oh, boxers. Briefs. Oh, no, I'm looking at this guy.
Yeah.
There we go. Kind of a sexy introduction
That
to
is
the briefs.
rather sexy.
All right, just some news around the sporting world. Brent Venables, official at Oklahoma. He's around campus in Norman taking pictures. Mario Cristobal, official at Miami. Or I don't know if they made it official, but I saw that the Oregon athletic director at least tweeted his parting thoughts, or they had their press conference there. Jay Norvell, former Husker offensive coordinator back in the Callahan era, is taking the Colorado State job, moving over from Nevada. Nick Bonito, the Oklahoma linebacker, has decided to sit out the Alamo Bowl. So he's going to go ahead and be the first one, I think the first one that I've heard of at least, to say, yeah, bowl season, no thanks.
Yeah.
Adrian is set up to visit Cal. He's already visited Kansas State, so it's going to be kind of fun to see where Adrian Martinez goes. And then in sporting worlds outside of football, Purdue is the #1 team in the nation in college basketball for the first time in school history. It's the highest rank. Obviously can't get any higher than that, but congratulations to the Boilermakers. Also, thoroughbred in 2021 Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has died after a workout.
Oh, wow.
So, that's not too good.
That's not good at all. That's not a happy thought. So I'll end it on a happy thought. Nebraska picked up a commitment from Concord, California, De La Salle defensive end Brody Tagaloa, 6'4", 260, 3-star. So there you go. Recruiting. Nebraska's up to, I think, 10 commitments. Small class, as we know. And a lot of the guys that they're going to get, I'm assuming, will be out of the transfer portal. I enjoyed that. Box Tops. It is that time. The best of the weekend.
All right, let's run through championship weekend and name our best performances. I will even mention in some, mostly from the winning teams, but even some of the losing teams. We'll start at number 10 from the Sun Belt Championship. Zion Hill on that defensive line helped the Ragin' Cajun with 2 sacks, 5 tackles total, and the 24-16 win over Appalachian State. Of course, very, very cool for Louisiana and even their parting coach, Billy Napier, who's getting the win on the way out.
Is he going to coach in the bowl game? He coached in that game.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
He's not coaching in the bowl game.
I would only think if a
That's
championship's
rare, right?
on the line.
When Frost, yeah, that's right. When Frost won his championship at UCF, he coached in the bowl game, and they won. They beat Auburn.
Yeah, but congratulations to Ragin' Cajun on the win. Also, congratulations to Utah State. They got the upset, actually, and didn't just get the upset. They destroyed San Diego State 46-13. A lot of it in part to quarterback Logan Bonner, who has 29 of 42, 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception for the Mountain West champions now, Utah State.
Yeah, that's a big win. They were not favored, right?
No.
Yeah, that was San Diego State had a great year under Brady Hoke. That was a bit of a surprise, but a bigger surprise than that it was a blowout win.
Yeah, and for a lot of these, like the non-Power 5 conferences, I mean, this is the Super Bowl. I mean, going to your bowl's fine, but winning the championship is a huge deal. And I think that sometimes we overlook that. A lot of people do zero in on the national championship. There are great stories to be told throughout college football, and that's why I like it outside of just the championships at the highest level. Conference championships are big deals.
Well, I think it would have been a bigger deal, for example, if Nebraska would have beaten Iowa, then won a bowl game. Or,
right, yeah.
Or not beaten Iowa and won a bowl game, that type of thing.
Especially with people now sitting out. Bowl games are getting kind of weird.
Yeah.
Number 8 on my list, how about Devin Lloyd, the linebacker from Utah? Friday night had 7 tackles and an interception return for touchdown for the All-American linebacker as Utah once again destroyed Oregon 38-10, shut them out in the first half like they did the first time around. Utah wins their first Pac-12 title, of course, joined their I have to go back and look, maybe about a decade ago now, but the first Pac-12 title for them.
Yeah, that's a big win, and Mario Cristobal loses that game. In fact, loses twice consecutively, almost. Wasn't it? They lost on November.
They beat
20th.
Oregon State.
That's right. They beat Oregon State the week after losing to Utah, got killed when they got hammered, and then got hammered again in the championship game.
Number 7 on my list, Brock Bowers, the freshman tight end from Georgia. You say they don't have a specifically great offense there at Georgia. They've got some weapons, and Brock Bowers is maybe my favorite among them. 10 receptions, 139 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, in the loss to Alabama, but he had a touchdown there at the end where he broke like 3 to 4 tackles, just kept moving the legs and getting in there. He's probably their best weapon, considering their wide receiver George Pickens has been out for the year. He's an NFL type of wide receiver, but Brock Bowers probably a future NFL type of tight end, but they got him for a few more years.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a really, really good player. And I still don't discount Georgia. I really think there's a good chance that Oregon or that Georgia could still win the national title.
Yeah, I still think that it's a possibility. I just don't know. That the whole time it's always been problem is that what if it comes down to Stetson Bennett? Yeah. You know, do you trust him opposed to
the best defense maybe in the history of mankind? They were calling it all season long. Will give up fewer than 41 points. I mean, there was a Stetson Bennett. You're right. 2 picks and 1 was a pick 6. That guy's got to be a lot better. I don't know why Georgia hasn't looked harder during Kirby Smart's whole tenure at his quarterback. Harder. I mean, they just haven't found a quarterback the whole time.
Well, they did. Again, they had Justin Fields and they let him go.
Yeah, well, they had him, and then he immediately transferred to Ohio State.
How about some news? Number 6 on my list out of Conference USA. Sincere McCormick led Texas San Antonio to a 49-41 win over Western Kentucky. He had 204 yards and 3 touchdowns. One of the best running backs in the nation. Of course, doesn't get a whole lot of pub because of where he plays. In that game, by the way, I've been kind of following Bailey Zappi all year. Bailey Zappi now has he threw for a lot. I think it was like 577 yards this past game and 4 touchdowns in the loss. He now has 5,545 yards, and they have a bowl game left. He's only got to get a little under 300 yards to top B.J. Simmons for all time, and B.J. Simmons did that back in 2003. His 5,833 yards. So we probably have a record holder in Bailey Zappi this year as far as total passing yards. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, what UTSA was like 12-1, weren't they?
Yeah, they were really good.
They were really good this year. They beat
Illinois.
Yeah.
Number 5 on my list. How about Kenny Pickett, the quarterback for Pittsburgh, who probably will end up going to New York for the Heisman ceremony? Was 20 of 33, 253 yards and 2 touchdowns in Pittsburgh's 45-21 win at Wake. It's the first ACC championship for a team other than Clemson or Florida State since Virginia Tech did it in 2010. Of course, the biggest news from the game was Kenny Pickett's fake slide that he turned into a touchdown. How do you feel about that play? Because the quarterback looked like he was going to give himself up. The defenders relaxed, and then he continued and went and scored a touchdown.
It reminds me of the fake spike. Remember that when Dan Marino did that? A couple quarterbacks have done it since. Like they act like they're trying to kill the clock.
Yeah, I like that.
And then they
one.
throw the pass. And a couple of times he did it for touchdowns. But yeah, you're right. That's iffy because if you hit him, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If he really does slide, and then so you back away, and then he continues to run.
Yeah.
It seems like that should be illegal.
That should be like fair catching it and running, I mean, that should be as much as like a fair catch. So I think that we'll see if the NCAA or NFL or anybody kind of picks up on that and changes that. It's great with the rules in play, good for Kenny Pickett, but in general,
he'll be in New York, right?
I think he will.
He'll be in New York.
Yeah, and I think he'll be a first round pick.
Yeah,
we'll see. Number 4 on my list, Jerome Ford, the running back transfer from Alabama, now at Cincinnati. 35-20 win over Houston. He ran for 100. He didn't run for 800. That'd be a lot. 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. And now he's got a chance as he leads Cincinnati into that game against Alabama to beat his former team.
I wonder if they would allow him, since he played at both schools, to play on both teams when Alabama plays Cincinnati. Like for the first half, suit up for Alabama, because they could use a running back.
Yeah, he could help.
Like Ford, because Robinson's been banged up. I wonder if he wonders in the back of his mind. But he's in the playoffs, so he's good.
Yeah. Their quarterback, Desmond Ridder, seems to get all the attention. Jerome Ford might be the best player in that offense.
He is the best player, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Ritter's good.
Yeah.
Ford's better.
Number 3 on my list, Baylor safety Jerron McVay. 9 tackles and interceptions, but most importantly, the tackle just before the goal line that won the game for the Bears. It came down to the inch-yard line there.
Yeah,
the 1-yard line.
Literally, if he could stretch the ball another inch, he hits the pylon, they win the game.
Do you think that he should have turned on the power type? He kind of dove for it. He tried to speed, tried to angle it into the end zone. But McVay was there, so he forced him outside. I thought maybe a stiff arm or a power move might have worked to get in there.
I blame just that whole offense. I don't blame him necessarily, because they were first and goal at the 1-yard line after a pass interference. You got to score the touchdown.
Well,
they're in the play. I think they're in the playoff today.
I think they might be. Yeah. However, it might even be hard to do that just because of Spencer Sanders. Watching him, he threw 4 picks against the Bears. I don't know if that's playoff worthy. He threw a total of 12 interceptions this year, 7 against Baylor the 2 times he played him. He had 1 touchdown and 7 picks in the games, but they did win one of the games. They just didn't win that one. It's the first Big 12 title for anyone besides Oklahoma since 2014, and the 3rd championship overall for the Bears, which ties them for 2nd with Texas now. So Oklahoma's kind of owned that conference, but Baylor and Texas are tied with 3 behind them. Baylor's 3rd title breaks their tie actually with Kansas State and Nebraska, who each had 2 in the Big 12.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that.
Still is.
I did not know that.
It's in there. Baylor, by the way, went 2-7 last year, but now David Aranda already has a title in his 2nd season. That's mighty impressive.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
That guy's an absolute stud of a head coach. I'm actually surprised he's still at Baylor. I mean, even after 1 year, what's it been, 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
He was there last year. I'm just surprised that somebody didn't go after him really hard, because I think he's a stud.
Well, and that's a name that at least I was mentioning if Frost was to be fired. And I think that after he did get kind of this level, he's probably above the Nebraska type of name.
Maybe he's on Oregon's wish list now.
Maybe.
I mean, you would think he might be. What about Chip Kelly?
Yeah. Chip Kelly's kind of the favorite name for Oregon, by the way, which I don't know why. But, and I mean, I know he had a great success there, but it seems like maybe his days have passed him. He's in the same conference and not getting the same results. So.
No, and he finished 2nd. I mean, they were 8-4. They had a good year.
8-4 is okay, and it's his best year there.
Yeah, I know. I know he's not great, but I would take that kind of bad. Right?
Yeah, we certainly would.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list. How about Aiden Hutchinson? 4 tackles and a sack in the 42-3 drubbing over Iowa for Michigan. And Michigan, it's kind of cool, and he had a lot of pressures in that game. That's why he kind of won the MVP of that game. It was kind of cool just because how much that stuff means to Michigan. Watching them beat Ohio State, watching them finally win a Big Ten championship game. It's like they've won the championship overall. They still got some business in front of them, but they're celebrating like they won the whole championship.
They kind of are. Cincinnati's kind of going through that as well.
Yeah.
I think both.
But you should take time to celebrate your achievements.
But that's not allowed at Alabama. You're not allowed.
No, they're not going to celebrate it that much.
I mean, usually there's that 24-hour rule where you can celebrate for 24 hours. Saban, it's like 24 minutes, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, they're expected to win the SEC every year, so that's kind of tough. And I can't remember who tweeted out. It's on my phone, actually. But like most of these teams that ended up winning the conference championship weren't even ranked to begin the year. Michigan among them.
Yeah, that's amazing that Michigan wasn't ranked.
Yeah, well, they were like, what were they, 2-4 last year?
Yeah, well, Harbaugh was, he had to take a pay cut, a big pay cut.
It was Dirk Chatlin that tweeted out. He said of the 5 major conference champs, only Alabama was ranked higher than 24th in the preseason poll. Utah was at 24. Pitt, Baylor, and Michigan were all unranked.
Wow.
So kind of a surprising year, a fun year in college football. Yep. Number 1 on my list, of course, is going to be the Heisman winner, Bryce Young, 26 of 44, 421 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 41-24 win over Georgia, propelling Alabama to the number 1 overall seed once again, and probably the favorites in the playoffs.
I think he's the best player in college football, and it's not just because he's on the best team. That guy made some throws that were absolutely ridiculous. And I love what they did against Georgia. They're like, okay, we're not going to try to run, not against that defense, but we're going to spread them out with Jamison Williams on one side and Michie on the other side. Now they've lost Michie, so I think that's a big loss for Alabama. And they've already got a banged up running back in Brian Robinson. I'm not like everybody else who just thinks Alabama's going to walk away with the title. I think it's going to be a struggle for anyone that wins it. So there you go. Good stuff from Box Tops from Jake Bachhoven there. We're going to talk about the college football playoff. We know Alabama's number 1. They'll be playing number 4 Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl. And then you've got Michigan at 2 and Georgia at 3. They'll be playing on New Year's Eve in the Orange Bowl. And we'll talk about it. Did the College Football Committee get it right? Doesn't feel like they had any other choice. We'll talk about it, though, coming up.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Rather blustery start to the work week. Highs this afternoon, only around 32. North winds gusting 15 to 25 will make it feel even colder with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low dropping down to around 26. Might even see a few flurries across the region. Will rebound to 41 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. This Saturday's morning matches features Man U against Man City at 7:30, Chelsea at Burnley, as well as Brentford at Norwich City at 10, and an afternoon match of Brighton and Newcastle at 12:30. On Sunday morning, there's 3 8 o'clock matches with Everton taking on Tottenham, Leicester City hosting Leeds United, and Arsenal and Watford, with Liverpool hosting West Ham at 10:30. All at McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Barry's is back and better than ever. Join us there on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. as DP goes one-on-one and Jay Foreman joins for Old School as we prepare for the Michigan-Nebraska basketball game to follow. Drinks, food, and sports talk. Join us for it all on Tuesday at Barry's.
Give yourself a gift this year and let Liberty First Credit Union help you spread holiday cheer. With many loan options to show, it's off to Liberty First you go. Whether shopping for you or gifts to put under the tree, a loan from Liberty First can make you shout with glee. Log on to libertyfirstcu.com for more information and spend the holidays in a state of relaxation. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Equal opportunity lender. Let them help you with your purchase.
One-on-one with DP.
What's been the difference? I think it's a system that I formed for myself. And it didn't start here. Like we've talked about my history, you know, I've played with Michael Porter and Trey Young, and I've played with these guys, you know, and I started playing basketball when I was 8th grade, and I was the tallest dude, and I've just accepted it. I've learned to be okay with it, and I've just made it work for me.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at Wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street. South Lincoln has a new place for you to catch all sporting events. The Upside Bar and Lounge is your destination for Monday Night Football, UFC fight nights, and more. It's a great place to meet friends to enjoy great drinks and food, with plenty of TVs to catch all the action. There's easy access and free parking and comfortable seating for groups. And don't forget happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. each weekday. There's specials every night, including taco night on Mondays and burger baskets on Tuesdays. That's at the Upside Bar and Lounge at 27th and Pine Lake.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. Mentioned Mario Cristobal leaving Oregon to join Miami. It was weird how they handled that whole Manny Diaz thing at Miami. He's out recruiting, and yet at the same time they're interviewing Mario Cristobal, who he knows is going to be the next head coach, unless he's never picked up a phone before. And I'm sure when he was talking to recruits, they said, you know, you're not going to be here as my coach next year. You know that, don't you, Coach? But thanks for stopping by. So that was a little weird. And now they're talking about at Oregon, maybe Chip Kelly is the next head coach, which would be the old head coach.
It just doesn't make much sense.
Or Scott Frost.
Yeah, there's a lot of Husker fans lobbying for Scott Frost, maybe.
You mentioned that there would be a few that would like to see Scott Frost take that gig. Not me, as far as you know. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit died this morning at Santa Anita on the track. Could be sudden death. That is very sad.
Yeah.
This
is like a 3-year-old horse.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, did I ever tell you my uncle was a jockey? Yeah. R.L. Smith won like 1,000 races. I mean, you can win once a day. Because you'll ride like 6 or 7 different horses in a given day as a jockey. But I would go as a kid. My memory was like going to Exarban in Omaha or Columbus or Fonter Park in Grand Island. That would be our summer. We would drive around the state and stay in these crappy hotels or motels and watch my uncle ride horses. And it's not a fun life for a kid. I mean, it's fun for a summer, but I can't imagine what my cousin went through having to live that life. And being a jockey's not easy, especially once you get into your 40s, because you're always trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
You're always trying to make weight. So he was always like in the sweat box before a race, trying to get down to 120 pounds or something like that. It's crazy, the life that those jockeys have to lead. But
how much does the jockey matter as far as like helping the horse win? Do you know?
Riding skills are important.
Well, right.
Yeah. But I mean, if you have a great horse, you're going to win.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, as opposed to another jockey, you know, not compared to me.
I mean, a great jockey can obviously make a big difference.
Yeah.
But if you have the best horse, you're going to be tough.
That's the biggest deal.
Yeah, that's by far the biggest deal.
Would the horses not run in the line if the jockey wasn't there? That's the idea.
It's not like greyhounds where you need that rabbit, the rabbit.
Yeah, I like that one. The horses don't. You can put a carrot out in front.
I don't think that's the case with horses. I think you can just use that the whip thing and they'll run.
That helps them.
They'll go forward. Because you're not riding the greyhounds.
Yes.
I doubt that the horses, if you just lined them up in the gate and, had that bell, that they would be frightened enough to run that far, like 6 furlongs. They
at least at their like top speed.
Yeah, dogs will run. Dogs will run at any point. They probably don't even need the rabbit thing. They would just, they'd just run. But horses are probably a little more stubborn than that.
Do you see? I think it was the halftime show for Nebraska's basketball game this past week, where one of the dogs, they did the frisbee thing, and one of the dogs peed on the court.
See, that's what you want to see.
Yeah,
I mean, the frisbee's nice, but that's kind of overdone. We've already seen that. I mean, they always bring out the crappy dog, not the crappy dog, but they bring out the slower, less athletic dog.
What do they bring him for?
And then it'll be a nice smooth motion, and then he jumps and catches it, and then you get a little more athletic, and then you get the dog that everybody wants to see.
Oh yeah,
is flying around the gym, and then peeing on the floor.
Yeah, so it's good to know everybody has their troubles getting halftime.
That's right.
Indiana does too.
We forgot to train Rover over there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get him to stop peeing on the floor at the basketball
Thanks for the
game.
check, though.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Alabama, as we know, is going to face Cincinnati in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic on New Year's Eve. Michigan will face Georgia. Alabama, the number 1 seed. Of course, Cincinnati, the 4 seed. Michigan, the 2 seed. Versus Georgia, having gotten beat 41-24, still remains in the college football playoff. In fact, they're the 3rd seed. The winners of both games will play on January 10th in the national championship game in Indianapolis. Alabama's already been installed as a 13.5-point favorite over Cincinnati. Georgia is a 7.5-point favorite over Michigan. You surprised by either of those point spreads?
Not necessarily. I mean, that makes sense. And these games typically do seemingly get out of hand. These the playing get into the championship. So hopefully we get some good ones. The Michigan Georgia one does surprise me a little bit. Michigan has all that momentum. Georgia doesn't look overwhelming, but I guess that's against Bryce Young, and Michigan doesn't quite have that. They've got 2 really good running backs, and McNamara is fine, but I guess between McNamara and Stetson Bennett, I don't know who the better quarterback is.
I'd take McNamara.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Yeah, not by a long
Neither
shot.
one is great. J.J. McCarthy plays a little bit for Michigan as well. He comes in and runs the option. I think Michigan's going to win that game for some reason. I think Michigan's pretty good. And I like the creativity in the run game. I think their defense isn't Georgia good, but I think it's really good. And I think it's good enough to slow down Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. Do you would it really ruin your day if Georgia and Alabama are playing for the national title?
It would ruin my day.
You'd watch it.
I would.
You do realize, like, watching that game, it always reminds you when you see like those type of athleticism, those type of athletic teams face each other. You just go, wow, they're almost playing a different game than Iowa is, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And Iowa, as we learned over the weekend, is still a fraud.
Yeah.
42-3. Although it was a lot closer than that going into like the fourth quarter. It was much closer than that. And then Michigan just opened it up. Even, trick plays late, which still drives me crazy about Nebraska. Why haven't they run one trick play that I can remember the entire season? And it was a simple trick play that Michigan executed. Just a throwback to a running back who throws it to a wide receiver for an easy touchdown. Heck, Michigan State has done 4 or 5 flea flickers this year. The same trick play over and over, and it works. Nebraska hasn't tried to execute one.
No, the flea flicker is just not a possibility here in Lincoln for some
Anything. I mean,
reason.
as much, gadget stuff as you have in your playbook, it would be easy to sell, I would think, for Nebraska. But they do have the 14 playoff is set. It's going to be Alabama versus Georgia. And yes, you're right. I'm going to be miserable on January 10th watching the national championship game with the same 2 actors.
I don't know. Alabama and Georgia was a lot of fun to watch the first round. I'd like to see it again. And it wasn't even like that close. It was just within Georgia's range to keep it interesting. But yeah, I want to see different actors within it. I've said this. I don't know if I think Stetson Bennett I think they should almost run a 2 quarterback system because JT Daniels is the better passer. Stetson gives them a little bit more mobility. But I'd like to see Daniels get a shot. We kind of saw the Stetson Bennett attempt. And I'd like to see more George Pickens out there once he gets healthy. Between that, Zamir White, Cook and Brock Bowers, they got some weapons. If they're able to, I think they can pass it around the yard a little bit better with Daniels in there and challenge Alabama's defense a little bit more. And I am quite interested too in something that you said, which is Alabama had a lot more to play for in that game. Now the SEC championship is a big enough thing to play for, but Georgia was told from the beginning, you're shooing into the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, that's tough to get up for that.
Yeah.
And to beat a team like Alabama who has that quarterback. I mean, they had a hot quarterback. It's like a hot goalie in hockey. You get a hot goalie, you're a tough team to beat. You are a tough out.
Yeah.
We saw that with Adrian Martinez, even though they didn't finish those games. They were in some of those games just because Adrian was on fire. Now, he's not Bryce Young. I'm not comparing Adrian to Bryce Young, but he's pretty good and he's pretty athletic and sometimes can will you and carry you into games. And Alabama, by the way, still is very talented.
Yeah.
And then they're told that they're garbage compared to Georgia. That's a big advantage, especially psychologically when you consider that Georgia knows, yeah, we're in. We can pretty much get beat 41-24, and we're still in.
Yeah.
They got beat 41-24, and they're still in.
Yeah.
That psychological advantage is a huge deal, especially when you give that ammunition to a guy like Nick Saban, who really knows how to use it. I'm wondering, though, what would move the needle more? Alabama versus Georgia, Alabama versus Michigan, Cincinnati versus Michigan, Cincinnati versus Georgia.
I think Alabama versus Georgia is very interesting. A lot of people wouldn't like it outside of the South.
They would hate it.
Yeah, a lot of people will be upset.
Alabama, Michigan would be the best draw.
But I'll tell you, that's what you're going to expand the playoffs as much as you want. You're going to get the best teams or those type of teams year in and year out. But yeah, Alabama, Michigan would be incredible just from a historical perspective. Michigan obviously is the all-time winningest program. Alabama has the most titles. Alabama's been dominant lately, of course, over the last 20 years, whatever it is. Michigan has not, so it's kind of their up and coming shot. And I don't know how, people sometimes cheer or don't cheer for their own conference and then have their own little rules if it's Michigan because people don't like Michigan. I'm cheering hard for Michigan to bring home a title from the Big Ten. I don't know if it's necessarily there. When you step back and look, yes, they're having a wonderful season, but I don't, especially offensively, they just don't have some of the weapons that I think to match up with an Alabama. But we'll see. I mean, it should be interesting.
Well, they can run the football. I'm interested to see if they can run the football against Georgia. That's a different deal because Alabama didn't try to run the football against Georgia. That's a lost cause, at least in their minds. That was. We'll take advantage of a couple of great wide receivers at Jamison Williams and John Amici, and we'll beat you that way. We'll spread you out. There were many times where Bryce Young was the only one in the backfield. I mean, it was five wides, and he can sling it, and he makes great decisions. As Steve said, I didn't see him make one bad decision that entire game. What do you think about this rumor from Wet Blanket? Joe Brady out at Carolina, worked with Mickey Joseph at LSU. Start the rumor mill now.
The problem with Joe Brady is that he's probably a little bit maybe out of reach for Nebraska's offensive coordinator job. I think he's going to get a better job than that.
Way better job.
Yeah, I mean, just even if he's coming back to college, seems like maybe a head coaching job in college or at least a high-profile offensive coordinator job at the college ranks. I do think he should come back to college, though, because the NFL stint didn't work out.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I hope that Sip is right, that we're going to look at some of these names, and that will get us through the offseason.
I did say before Fred Hoiberg was a little bit out of Nebraska's reach before, too, and they got him. So,
but yeah, Lincoln, but his grandpa is from Lincoln.
Yeah.
He's the mayor, not the mayor of Lincoln, the mayor of Ames, but he did have a Lincoln connection.
Yeah.
In fact, his dad, great grandfather was the coach at one time at Nebraska. So, he had that connection, and I think Nebraska just sold it. I don't think Fred is on the hot seat by any means. But he's got to find a point guard, right? Fred has to find a point guard at some point. I like what they have at times at their point, situation, but at times it's just terrible. I mean, Alonzo Verge is a good player. I don't know that you can just teach a guy to be a point guard if he's never been a point guard.
I don't know. There's some games where it's working and some games where it's not, I'll admit. But especially that Indiana game, everybody's standing around. If he's the only one that can create, then let him go at it. And I know that you get sometimes frustrated with his shot selection, but between him and Webster, that's why I'm interested if they will. And of course they did. They switched up the rotation. They put Tamanaga, got his first start, of course, in for Alonzo Edwards, who didn't play. And now you wonder if is that the starting lineup? Is that the lineup they want? Because Mayan doesn't really play starters minutes anymore. CJ Wilcher kind of gets more minutes. So, the starting thing matters less than who's finishing. And I get all that. But I'm just saying, as far as your best five, I wonder if maybe a Cody Webster and Verge combination in the backcourt. We've thought about it before, but especially watching that last game, it's kind of like those are the only guys that can create for you. And if they don't get anybody else going, they can at least, you're always pretty good with a mid-range shot from one of them because they can shake their way free.
And a lot of teams have that guy where you just throw it into him, the big man who can hit guys, based on the collapsing that is done. Nebraska doesn't have that guy. Derek Walker's a good player, but he's not necessarily a guy that you just throw it into to try to get a bucket and you have to double team him. Otherwise, somebody is going to be, otherwise he's just going to score.
Yeah, that's the problem. And there's kind of a theory. Of course, he's one of the NCAA leaders in field goal percentage. A lot of the time, it's Derek Walker's not alone, and that those guys usually are rebounder dunker types. But there's kind of the idea of give it to him. He's the guy. He's leading his field goal percentage, but he's not like he doesn't create those on his own. He's not a great back to the bucket type of guy, especially in the Big Ten when you're going to be facing most centers are probably taller than him, so I don't think that's really the answer either. But he is a guy that at least brings the tenacity and grit that everybody thinks that you're missing outside of course Trey McGowan's who got hurt. And so you don't really have that in the front or in the backcourt now, but in the front court, I think Walker brings that to you every game.
He's a tough-minded player. But yeah, I think they really need somebody like Blaze Keita, who's coming next year from the JUCO ranks, a 6'10" guy. Nebraska has gone very small in some of these games. There are times where you see CJ Wilcher out there along with Kobe Webster, and then there's Tamanaga, and then they'll throw in a Lat Mayon or a Derek Walker, couple, or usually it's Bryce McGowan's as well, but he's 6'7", sure. But he's got some growing to do within the framework of his body. It feels like Nebraska tries to take advantage of teams not by using Eduardo Andre and Lat Mayon and Derek Walker so much as they're going Kobe Webster and Alonzo Verge and then Tamanaga as well. They would rather go small, from what I've seen, than go big.
Yeah.
Because those are the offensive skilled players that Fred Hoiberg needs to space the floor. But within that, you're one of the worst rebounding teams in the entire world.
And your spacing isn't working because you're not hitting any threes. So you just kind of get and that's what's frustrating about this tenure for Hoiberg so far is that it was all based on this open, everybody can shoot type of thing. And we've seen them. These guys can shoot. They just can't shoot on game days, or most of them can, or they can't get together and, have a couple guys hot for the game. There's usually one guy leading in that category. It's bad. I mean, the shooting is bad, and you're getting the conference play under 30%. I just didn't think I'd see that from this collection of shooters. So do you stick with it? And I know Hoiberg, he talked about it in his press conference today, is really trying to get them to be able just to shoot better because it's befuddling him as well. But at some point, maybe you get to the point of saying, let's, the 5-out system, it's our thing. It's what we're recruiting to. It's what we want to run here. But maybe it's not for this personnel.
Yeah, but it should be. I mean,
it looks like it should be.
CJ Wilcher, up until a few games ago, was hitting 42% from the field. Kobe, at Western Illinois was a legendary scorer. I mean, that's what he did. He's not necessarily a shooter, but he is a scorer. And then Alonzo Verge can definitely score around the rim. I wonder about his shooting. They've been way better from 2-point range from most of this year than they have been from 3-point range. But Keisei Tamanaga, I mean, he's the Japanese Steph Curry. That's got to happen at some point, you would think. But when you start missing them, it's like the golf swing. It's like you get into the slump, and then you start talking about your slump, or you get advice about it. And sometimes, to your point about too many cooks in the kitchen, sometimes you get advice from everybody, and you don't need it. You just need confidence. They just need to see it go through the hoop, because I think they do have good shooters.
I would just feel better if their 28%, whatever 3 points, I think it's around there. Whatever it is was up and down, right? Like one night they're shooting 40%, and then they just can't hit anything and it's 14%. Yeah. But they're steadily 25%. Like they just cannot hit them on any given night.
No, it's been terrible. And at some point, if this continues, you have to say, this is not a good shooting team.
Yeah.
I don't care what the stats say in practice. If it continues, and now maybe it won't. Maybe I could see tomorrow. This is a weird team. This is a weird athletics program right now, where Nebraska is almost inexplicable. They'll probably win a few games still this year, probably several games that you don't expect them to, and then they'll lose a few that they shouldn't lose as well.
All right, how are you feeling about 500 in Big Ten play?
I would take that, but it's not happening.
It does. It looks like
3 or 4 games under 500. Is that may be wishful thinking? This is a tough league.
It is.
And they start you out on the road at Indiana and then home against Michigan. I mean, it's not like they gave Nebraska a really winnable game to start this. But that's what Nebraska basketball is from time
But to be fair, other than Purdue, who's number one, nobody else in the Big Ten has looked overwhelming. They're all like the other ranked teams. There's only like 3 of them in the Big Ten. They're all in the back end of the top 25. So, it shouldn't be too overwhelming. I know it's going to be tough, and there's a lot of teams grinding in there, but I think Nebraska will get a few upset victories this year. I just don't know if they can consistently put it together. And I think you'd maybe have hoped to see a little bit more by now, but who knows? I mean, with that collection of talent, maybe eventually it starts clicking. Maybe eventually they start hitting some of those threes and they can get this turned around.
I guess if you're looking for one thing that's a little encouraging for me is they played some defense against Indiana.
Yeah.
And they zoned it. They man-to-man. They played with effort, like better effort than I have seen for a while from a Hoiberg coach team, because the ball's not going through the hoop. The only way you're going to win is with extra effort on the defensive end. And hopefully that's something that can stick around. We've only got about a minute before we get to break, but let's take a quick call before we do. Jason on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Hi, Jason.
Hey, guys. Real good show. Webster's been too tentative, and if I was Hoiberg, I would say Casey. Shoot. I tell the team, hey, get that guy the ball. We want him to shoot out of this slump. He doesn't even get enough minutes to get into that groove that Casey is capable of. So for the first time this year, I am getting frustrated with Hoiberg because he needs to direct the team on those things. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Good stuff. Wingman time. It's Movie Monday. I thought we were going to give up on my R acting, but I think we're getting better, Bock. I think we are gradually increasing our acting skills, our acting ability. Who knows? This episode, this segment might be nominated for some sort of radio award by the time we're done in 10 years. But anyway, it's Monday Movie Mania. 464-5685. We'll act out a scene from a famous movie, and you guess what the name of the movie is, and you get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll do it coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Happer and Schaefer.
Over the first 3 years, they've had it a very specific way, just as far as how they use the 10 assistant, offensive coordinator / wide receivers coach. So I'll be curious to see how they kind of reshuffle that, if they reshuffle it all. If they don't, I think that'd be kind of disappointing. You don't want to put different guys in the same type of roles. The whole point of doing this is reshuffling the deck.
Yeah, the whole point of doing this is to free Scott Frost up to do other things.
Right.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Give yourself a gift this year and let Liberty First Credit Union help you spread holiday cheer. With many loan options to show, it's off to Liberty First you go. Whether shopping for you or gifts to put under the tree, a loan from Liberty First can make you shout with glee. Log on to libertyfirstcu.com for more information and spend the holidays in a state of relaxation. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Equal opportunity lender. Let them help you with your purchase.
Barry's is back and better than ever. Join us there on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. as DP goes one-on-one and Jay Foreman joins for Old School as we prepare for the Michigan-Nebraska basketball game to follow. Drinks, food, and sports talk. Join us for it all on Tuesday at Barry's.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
If you're thinking about a new career, improving your job skills, or just continuing your love of lifelong learning, Southeast Community College's Spring Continuing Education Catalog is hitting your mailbox soon. It's chock full of options. Learn how to write a compelling grant application, become a pharmacy tech, or even learn to ride a motorcycle. We even provide the bike. Check out your catalog or go to southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to possible.
This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings so you can go buy chickens.
Hoyos!
Yardbird. All right, it's Monday, so it's Monday Movie Mania. Bock and I act out a famous scene from a movie, and you guess what the name of the movie is, and you win chickens. All right. I think Chuck is waiting. Hopefully Chuck is waiting patiently to hear our brilliant acting skills and action. You have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another American who saw too many movies as a child, another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks that he's John Wayne, Rambo, Marshall Dillon.
I was kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually. I really like those sequin shirts.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
All right. We didn't do the accent. I can't do a German accent, but I thought we nailed it. And we probably would have won the roles of this particular movie.
Yeah.
In this particular movie. 464-5685. Is Chuck there or James?
I am here, guys.
It's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing well. Guys, both of you deserve an Oscar for
That was fantastic. Well, it's not till March, I don't think. So we'll wait and see if we get nominated. What do you think that is?
I believe that is Die Hard.
Is that Yeah, it is Die Hard. This is how it really sounded like in the movie. This is how it sounded in the movie.
You have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another American who saw too many movies as a child. Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks he's John Wayne, Rambo, Marshall Dillon.
I was always kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually. I really like those sequin shirts.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Oh, that was close. Yes. So way to go, Chuck. Nicely done. You got $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. I think I'm going to do Christmas movies for the next, up until Christmas.
Is that a Christmas movie, Die Hard?
Well, that's the debate. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? There's a Christmas tree in the movie.
They're at a Christmas party altogether.
Right. He's at a Christmas party, Nakatomi Towers, whatever it is. And then...
If Die Hard is a Christmas movie, that means that Toy Story is a Christmas movie.
Why?
Because at the end of the movie, it's Christmas and he gets a puppy.
Yeah, but this is more not the end of the movie. This is like throughout the movie.
No, it's not. There's a Christmas tree. It happens around Christmas time. It doesn't make it a Christmas
It's a Christmas party. It's all based on being at a Christmas
movie. It does
party.
not make it a Christmas movie.
I think it's a Christmas movie.
And of course, he's catching bad guys. You see references to Christmas, and what the cop is going to on Christmas Eve. He has to work on Christmas Eve, so he stops at the U-Stop or whatever gas and shop, that type of thing, and he gets a bunch of Twinkies, and then the guy says "Merry Christmas" as he leaves. So it's Christmas time.
Would you have rather seen? It's reported that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone they had a chance, but they turned down the role of John McClane.
No,
that would have been weird.
No, he was a good cop. I mean, Stallone would have screwed it up. He would have made it too weird.
Then they couldn't have used the Rambo line either. They would have changed the script.
That's right. They would have had to say,
think you're Rambo?
else.
Yeah, I am.
What,
I
Superman?
am Rambo.
Think you're Rambo?
I really
yes,
am.
quite literally. I do believe that I am Rambo.
The best part is when he's crawling through the vent and he can't see it, so he lights up the match or the lighter. Says, come out to the coast, have a few drinks, we'll have a few laughs, that type of thing. That's I don't know why that's so funny, but it's a great line in that movie. But I think I've debated it. I think it's a Christmas movie.
And what is it? Your favorite Die Hard? Is there any other Die Hards that even compare?
Almost no sequels are ever good.
No, but there's like 1,000 Die Hard.
There's a Die Hard 2. There was a Die Hard with a Vengeance. Was there a Die Harder?
Is Edward Scissorhands a Christmas movie?
No.
He's still in the Christmas
I saw that
movie.
on the list as well.
Christmas gets mentioned.
No.
He does a lot of he carves up the trees. He, carves up the ice sculptures.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned.
He helps with the lights and everything.
Like, I was thinking about Love Actually. Love Actually is not really a Christmas.
Is Iron Man 3 a Christmas movie? That happens around Christmas time when his suit goes down. He's going through his PTSD and everything.
No.
That's around Christmas time.
He would have to save Christmas. Iron Man would have to save Christmas.
He saves Christmas for a one boy. He gets him all this technology because he likes working on tech and stuff.
Then I would have to rule that as a Christmas.
So Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. Okay, cool.
I'm glad we solved all these debates. I mean, it feels like we've gotten something done on the show today.
Is Batman Returns a Christmas movie?
I saw
definitely a
that.
Christmas movie.
There's no doubt about it.
I'm a big Batman fan.
Does
so
he
I'll
save
watch
Christmas?
No, kinda. Not really.
It's just kind of there.
It's just there. Like Die Hard. It's just there.
Yeah.
I think it's a Christmas movie. It made me feel
So,
good.
by the way, there's Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, and A Good Day to Die Hard.
Which was your favorite outside of the original?
Probably Live Free or Die Hard.
I should have hard to die.
There was one with Samuel Jackson. Which one was that?
Oh, that's right. Which one was he in?
I like that one. I thought they were.
Well,
good
he can't beat Alan Rickman though, as Hans Gruber.
Yeah,
so that's why that's the best one.
But he's been dead for a long time, so they've had to use other characters.
Samuel Jackson was in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
That would be my choice outside of the original Die Hard. We got to get to break. Come back with more. It is Tom and Bock.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Rather blustery start to the work week. Highs this afternoon only around 32. North winds gusting 15 to 25 will make it feel even colder with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low dropping down to around 26. Might even see a few flurries across the region. Will rebound to 41 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental of Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career.
And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Barry's is back and better than ever. Join us there on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. as DP goes one-on-one and Jay Foreman joins for Old School as we prepare for the Michigan-Nebraska basketball game to follow. Drinks, food, and sports talk. Join us for it all on Tuesday at Barry's.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
The second largest indoor ag show in the U.S. It's the Nebraska Ag Expo, and it features more than 785 companies spread over 9.2 acres. This show brings all the latest innovations and greatest ag technologies that you need to increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Check it out December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. Register online for free admission at nebraskaagexpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hour number 3 of Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. He's Jake Bockoven. Are you happy with the bowl matchups, Jake?
I think there's some interesting ones out there, other than, of course, the playoffs. I think most interesting for a lot of people is Utah and Ohio State. See if Ohio State can bounce back in the Rose Bowl. I like a lot of them out there. I know Wandale said that he's going to beat Iowa for some of his brothers in Lincoln, I think is how he put it. So, that's nice of him. He's still thinking of us from time to time.
The Oklahoma State Oklahoma State and Notre Dame matchup is interesting because they were the two teams that would have had an argument. Notre Dame would have been in, by the way. If Georgia just beats Alabama, I think Notre Dame's in. They would have been in.
Yeah, they probably would have been in,
probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're, and Cincinnati's in.
Yeah.
So, that would have been interesting. I was hoping for that. I was hoping for a lot of anger, a lot of mayhem. And you started to get it. You got a little bit of it when Oklahoma State was like an inch short. That opened up things for Notre Dame, and they think, well, Georgia's already favored over Alabama. They'll probably win, and then we're in. And it just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, and that would have been weird, of course, without their head coach, Brian Kelly, who moved on. But in the College Football Playoff Committee chairman, Gary Barta, the athletic director at Iowa, he had previously said that they would use that against Notre Dame, that their current coach wasn't in play. But since they had Marcus Freeman, who is an inside hire, then it doesn't matter. Then it's as things are normal, which I think maybe is just walking back his comments from earlier because they probably shouldn't have held that against him to begin with. But yeah, like looking at some of the other bowl matchups, like you said, Notre Dame and Oklahoma State, I think that's an interesting one. I really like the Peach Bowl, Michigan State and Pittsburgh. That, of course, is Pat Narduzzi going up against his old team.
That's right. He was the defensive coordinator
For a long
at
time.
Michigan State for a long time. And he was one of those guys that when Nebraska was looking for a coach, even before Frost, when Frost was hired, I was thinking Pat Narduzzi would not be a bad hire.
Yeah.
That quarters defense that Mark Banker used at Nebraska, very similar to what Michigan State tried to execute at Michigan State when Narduzzi was there, and now at Pittsburgh. But yeah, I wonder if that guy's name will soon come up for big-time jobs. Because that's where we are right now, the coaching search. You're wondering what Oregon will do. Do they go in the way of Chip Kelly now that Mario Cristobal has declared that he is headed to Miami, which the more you think about it, the more you understand. He played there. He coached there.
Yeah.
I think when you're asked to come home as an alum, kind of like Scott Frost, there's maybe even a little guilt if you don't take the gig. Like, I'm sure that Scott Frost went through some of that. Like, if I don't take this, I'm turning down Tom Osborne. I'm turning down Husker Nation. I got to do this. I've been called to come home. I think that's what it was with Mario Cristobal, because it's not as good of a job as Oregon.
Well, and it's weird just to kind of leave, and it's been happening throughout the coaching carousel. Maybe there's more money in play or whatever, to kind of leave your product that you've worked so hard to get to a point where it is. And you wonder if some of the shine is eventually going to come off of Oregon. You know, they've had a few different coaches here in the last few years. Their next hire will probably, it'll obviously be very important, but they've kind of maybe have passed their chance to really take advantage of their momentum as far as at least finally winning a national title. They were close with Marcus Mariota there. I think they had another game where they were in the college football championship game, but I don't know if that's on the horizon for Oregon now with USC having Lincoln Riley. I mean, it looks like maybe a changing of the guard all together in the Pac-12.
Wouldn't you just go after Chip Kelly? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe
he's coming off an 8-4 year at a school that doesn't win a lot, or at least hasn't recently. I know it took him a while,
but that's buying a crappy stock that had like one good week.
Yeah,
he's had a really rough time at UCLA.
Maybe
it goes 8-4, and that's when you get excited about it.
Maybe there's another way to look at it. You're buying a good stock who's just gone through tough times as of late, because he's the best coach that Oregon has ever had.
Yeah,
he's better than anything they've ever had before. And you're right. The stock prices have fallen with Chip Kelly, and maybe make the suggestion that other teams have caught up to what Oregon did. And I think they definitely have. And the example is Nebraska and Oregon and UCLA. That eventually it's cyclical, right? You try something, then defenses adjust to it, and then you try something else. And then it was, Scott Frost saying, well, we want Oregon speed, but Nebraska's strength. So it's kind of a combo of things. And now we don't know what we're going to get. We're moving on to a new offense where we have no idea, no clue. Mickey Joseph might leave you a clue that he came from LSU, won the national title in 2019 under Joe Brady. And now he's the passing coordinator. He learned all the secrets of Joe Brady. So go do that. Go do whatever LSU was doing in 2019 and bring it to Nebraska. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's not. I mean, this is a big fascination, I think, with everybody. Because Sipple was telling us just last hour, I think you're going to like it. If the names I'm hearing are true, I think you're going to like it. But we're not allowed to know until we're allowed to know.
Yeah, and we'll see, and it'll be exciting, and hopefully it is the type of hire that gets a little bit of juice into the program, because the program needs juice. It needs a reason to believe. I think that loss to Iowa particularly kind of hurts the narrative that you're moving forward, right? Because you had that. I mean, you had a different actor in there. It wasn't Adrian Martinez. So if you're the whole time you're thinking, well, Adrian just can't make those plays in the clutch, take Adrian out of the situation. It's a little bit different again, because they built up a lead against Iowa. Again, you're at the point of evaluating where Iowa is, because they look pretty rough in that Big Ten championship game. But at least they had a different look, but it all came crumbling down, and it makes you think, well, maybe it's not the four offensive coaches that you fired. Maybe it's not Adrian Martinez who wasn't in that game. Maybe it's something else that's still in the program.
Because we're all looking for clues. So any hire, any move that Scott Frost makes these days, we're thinking, oh, that's the clue of where Nebraska is headed directionally as far as their new offense is concerned. Even the announcement of a new coordinator doesn't necessarily mean that's what they'll all, because that's what they've done in the past. That's what they're definitely going to do at Nebraska. Maybe we find more clues in who the next quarterback might be from the transfer portal. For example, Indiana quarterback Michael Penix. Michael Penix Jr. has entered the transfer portal. Coming into this past season, he was the favorite to win Big Ten Player of the Year. Obviously got injured. It didn't work out. The last couple of years have been tough for him as he's been injured. But would you be happy if Nebraska went after Michael Penix Jr.?
Not overly. I mean, he's not very mobile. I think Nebraska, with whatever offense they switch to, has a big offensive line problem. I think you need a mobile quarterback, if not to call running plays just to get out of trouble from the hurries and the pressure that you're going to see from opposing pass rushes. And he's kind of banged up. He's got a big injury history. So I think you're trying to move away from the guy with the injury history. And there, there's different things in play there. It wouldn't be awful, that's good competition, but I'm looking for a little bit more juice than that. But I don't know how you're going to get it. It's interesting. Quinn Ewers might be the top name in the transfer market. Of course, the $1 million man who never played a snap for Ohio State decided to transfer it, and he's visiting like Texas Tech and TCU, which is surprising to me. You would think that the big name schools would be all over that kid, and that'd be one that Nebraska should definitely be all over. I'm a little bit worried too that I don't know who they're after. Maybe it's just not being reported, but you see all these different, they're going after this guy or that guy from Abilene Christian or whatever from all these different positions, but you're not seeing quarterback yet. And that's just a very glaring need.
Give me a name of a guy in college football that you would be happy if he were the quarterback at Nebraska.
Well, there's a lot of them, obviously.
That fits what they kind of like.
We don't know what they want to do.
If, for example, Dorian Thompson-Robinson had another year of eligibility and he said, I'm going to the transfer portal and I'm going to Nebraska, I would be very happy with that. And that's a quarterback who's very similar to Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
But the guy that just left is kind of the guy that I want without the mistakes.
Right. And again, he's a top 25 quarterback in almost every metric that you do, except for wins. Is Adrian Martinez. So I'm very excited to see what he does in the open market. But I mean, I don't know. You yourself for a long time this season is saying maybe we need less flash at quarterback. Maybe you just need a piece that fits in nicely that can kind of orchestrate an offense. Quarterback to him will win, but have the pieces around him. But you can't force that if you don't have the pieces around him. So I think you need somewhat of a playmaker. I think you have some solid wide receivers with a history, like we've said, with Xavier Betts and Omar Manning of looking like there's more out there than maybe they've accomplished. So you think there's upside, but still at the same time, not necessarily can you rely on them to build your offense around them. A solid running back group, good tight end coming back if you can get Vokalek. I mean, there's some pieces there, but they're not overwhelming. So I still think you need someone to kind of be a playmaker more so than just a game manager.
The text line says Quinn is scheduled for a campus visit. I don't know if that's true. But Husker
for where?
Husker fan in Manhattan says Quinn is scheduled for a visit to campus.
To our campus, to Lincoln?
No, some campus. I'm sure he's scheduled to a visit.
That would be huge, by the way. That would be, because that was like the number one or one of the top quarterbacks in the last class. I mean, that's like if you're getting him straight out of high school, and he gets to sit a year behind C.J. Stroud and see what's going on there.
Yeah, and he's the Texas kid that went to Ohio State and enrolled early. It's surprising that, and apparently got some big time endorsement deals to do so at Ohio State. But as sometimes happens, you get to campus and you go, man, C.J. Stroud, he's a freshman. That guy's a freshman. I'm going to be waiting behind that guy a long time. See you later. It's been fun. I think I'll go visit the campus of the University of Nebraska. I don't know that that's true. I'm just guessing that the text line knows something that they probably don't. But that would definitely create a little excitement. I'm wondering about the whole philosophy of whoever you hire as an offensive coordinator, he's got a dude. A dude, bring it a dude. You hire Danny Manning so you can get Danny Manning's dad so you can get Danny Manning.
Yeah.
That's the very famous story from Kansas. That happens all the time. You hire the dad so you can get the son. Donovan Raiola.
That's what I was thinking. Is maybe you might be doing that on the offensive line, which I don't know if that's a great idea. I know he's he's been in the NFL and he's been around the coaching circles. It's not like it would be surprising that he would make a move like this to Nebraska to be the offensive line coach. It's not, he's earned that. But I just don't want you to make moves just based on 3 years away for a quarterback. I mean, some ways I do. I hope you do that. But for this team specifically, I don't know if these assistants that you're hiring are going to be here in 3 years if this thing doesn't get fixed in year one.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could go get a game manager, as the text line suggests. Dave Braska says, should we recruit a game man? I guess he's just asking the question. Should we recruit a game manager at quarterback? I don't know. I think you need somebody who's dynamic that also makes great decisions. I want it all. I want a quarterback who does it all, and maybe with a great quarterback coach, that could happen. Somebody says Wake Forest, their quarterback. How about that? And their OC. Bring them all.
Yeah, bring them both.
Was that Sam Hartman?
Yeah, Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman is really good.
I just don't, I think specifically, too, with a lot of the personnel you're losing on defense, this is less of a year where it was coming into this year where it was, okay, protect the defense, rely on them for the win. And, they didn't get the wins, but, they did do that in some games, and it helped them stick with, the likes of Oklahoma or Michigan State. But I don't know if you can do that next year. I'm not sure if the defense is going to be as good next year without Damian Daniels and JoJo. I mean, we saw the loss. Sip's not too worried about the loss of Damian Daniels, but it hurt him the last game and a half that they played. JoJo Doman, that's an all-conference type. Cam Taylor-Britt, those are all-conference types that you're losing, and they're not easily replaceable. You had two full-grown men as safeties this past year, throughout a lot of the season. Of course, you had an injury in Deontay Williams, but you're losing just a lot on defense. I think it would be hard to expect them to improve on their numbers from this year.
I think it'd be very difficult. 464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. Abe asks, what's wrong with Smothers? I don't think there's anything wrong with Smothers. I would like to see a stronger arm. I'd like to see him get bigger and stronger. I think there's a lot of potential. I've said it all along when everybody was talking about Heinrich Harburg in spring and then in fall camp. He's the number 2. I said, no, I think it's Smothers the entire time. I've said that. And I think also I said, I expect him when he goes in to be pretty good. And I thought he was pretty good. He doesn't have Adrian athleticism, but he's faster. And I think he's really bright, and I think he could develop. He's only a freshman last time I checked. So I'm not dismissing Logan Smothers as being a really pretty good option.
But they need competition for Logan Smothers. This has to work this year. And they didn't have confidence in him to go in against Purdue, which after watching the Iowa game, you kind of wonder why. But it's kind of that evaluation is how much would they feel comfortable putting it all, this whole experiment all on Logan without providing him with much competition. But if they think Harburg is that far along, then maybe that's the case too, because we just haven't seen too many reports about Nebraska going after a quarterback yet. And right now it's the time to go after those guys.
More likely to be an offense that looked like it did under Adrian, or is it more likely to be a Richard Torres type of offense? You think going? I don't know. I happen to think that they'll stick to what they were doing more with Adrian. But if it doesn't, you got Richard Torres.
In my mind, if you don't, you have to fix the offensive line situation before you can have a quarterback that can sit back there and pick defenses apart. It's not a bad look long term, but this offensive line, you got to remember their tackles graded out as some of the worst tackles in the nation as far as pass protection. And you watched it play out. It happened all the time. Adrian had to save you, a lot of those sack numbers by scrambling and making miraculous plays. And, again, it didn't always lead to the best. We know Adrian's, but, they just have a long way to go before I think on that offensive line developing before they can get a pro-style quarterback that's not going to be able to move too much.
And I'll say it out loud. How much can you change your roster from the transfer portal with guys from Florida International or Cornell?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the answer is a lot. Because I know you got Samare Toure from Montana, and he turned out to be a really good transfer. I'm not saying there aren't talented guys that go to Florida International or Cornell. I just know that Alabama just got a guy, Jamison Williams, from Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that's as good. I mean, with all the Ohio State receivers, and they're loaded, Olave and Wilson, and obviously the Jigba, they're really good. I think Jameson Williams might have been the best of all. I mean, of all those guys, he might be better.
He might be the fastest. I don't know if he's the best, but and he's going to be right up there.
I mean, that's crazy. That's the best transfer. Or Will Anderson, if you want to, he's a transfer, I believe, at linebacker as well for Alabama. They're probably not going to get Jameson Williams or Will Anderson from the transfer portal from Cornell or Florida International.
No, but again, like you just said, you had a guy in Montana do a lot better than their transfer that they got from Ohio State.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Tyreek Johnson has a future as a cornerback here. But it's not necessarily just the bigger schools. But at the same time, per capita or whatever, you're going to have your better chances getting them from bigger name schools. But again, those guys sometimes are just big time recruits that never quite develop or never quite get into the rotation. And there's a reason for that. If they're not playing at Ohio State, maybe there's a reason for that.
Yep. Good discussion. I enjoyed it. Let's talk some volleyball, Bock. Nebraska volleyball swept, no surprise. They've done it 27 of the past 28 years where they've been in the Sweet 16. So it's almost automatic that Nebraska is going to be in the Sweet 16 every single year. Guess what? They're back in the Sweet 16. They play Illinois Thursday night, 8:30 on ESPNU. If they win that, then they'll play the winner of Washington versus Texas in the Austin Regional. You'd probably rather face Washington than Texas. But Nebraska volleyball playing really good volleyball once again at the right time of year.
Well, I'd rather play Texas, and I'd rather, you can't avoid the behemoths, the Giants all this time. You want to take Texas down in Austin. That would be awesome. A little revenge from last year. Of course, Texas ended Nebraska's season last year. But Washington's no joke either. You're in the Sweet 16. You're going to have tough competition.
We say last year, it was actually this year.
I guess that was this year.
It was in the spring when they played a volleyball season. But you're right. It seems like last year. It's been crazy what COVID brought. But Nebraska, I think, a much better volleyball team right now than the team that lost to Texas in the spring. I think they're a really good volleyball team. How good can they be considering all these teams have a lot of super seniors, including Nebraska has at least their share of them. But we'll talk a little Husker volleyball with Tanya Taki, former Husker volleyball great, and we'll do it next on Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rather blustery start to the work week. Highs this afternoon, only around 32. North winds gusting 15 to 25 will make it feel even colder with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low dropping down to around 26. Might even see a few flurries across the region. Will rebound to 41 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win too by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
One-on-one with DP.
What's been the difference? I think it's a system that I formed for myself. And it didn't start here. Like we've talked about my history, I've played with Michael Porter and Trey Young, and I've played with these guys, and I started playing basketball when I was 8th grade, and I was the tallest dude, and I've just accepted it. I've learned to be okay with it, and I've just made it work for me.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
This year, show her she's the one with 1 carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1 carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1 carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final half hour of Tom and Bock. Tom Stevens here. Jake Bachhoven there. Sailing through a Monday. 10th seeded Nebraska volleyball team advanced to the 10th straight NCAA regional on Saturday. A sweep of Florida State after a sweep of Campbell on Friday night. Nebraska now 23-7 and headed to the Sweet 16 in Austin, Texas, where they will take on Illinois, a team that they've beaten twice already this year. And we'll start there with Tanya Taki. Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. I kind of still have my voice issue from last week, but I'm powering through and on the mend.
They look good this weekend. Did Nebraska volleyball with straight set sweeps over both Campbell and Florida State. What did they do well in your mind this weekend?
Well, I mean, I was actually kind of surprised in his lineups again. Like I thought, this is the time of year to go consistent and try to build our confidence with each other. So I was a little bit surprised that we didn't ever see Lexi Sun in that second game against Florida State. But I mean, Allie Batenhorst played great, and I don't know the problem is I don't know what that means. Is that who we're going with? If she gets a shot until she messes up and then we put Sun in, or what do we got going on? And I've never been like scared, nervous, excited, worried about the lineup going into the, third and fourth round of NCAA tournament. Like by now we kind of know who we got and what we're doing. Right. If that makes any sense.
Well, they have a lot of freshmen and they're trying to get them involved, and they did. You mentioned Allie Batenhorst played a lot in the place of Lexi Sun. We've seen Krause all year long. Nebraska did play well, 12 high, match high 12 digs, actually 15 digs from Maddie Kubek, 12 kills from her. Allie Batenhorst had 11 kills, hit 308 for that match. Lauren Stivrins, her normal great self with 10 kills. So they're playing well at the right time.
Right. And yeah, it's just a Nebraska scenario that I haven't ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Like, you look on Facebook to see who's starting, and we're in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, is Whitney Lowenstein going to play, against Illinois, or are we going with Krause? Are we going with Sun? Are we going with Bainhorst? Like, that's a lot of questions. Usually that's not where we're at this point in the season.
Why do you think that is? Is it, just what John Cook sometimes says is whoever practices the best on a regular basis plays, and it must be somebody different all the time.
Right. Well, I want to say that this is kind of a Husker rebuilding year, even though how can you even say that when we're in the top 10? But it just feels like we're building for the future, if that makes any sense. And usually, when you talk about a rebuilding year, you fall out of the top 25, or you're, you don't have your veteran setters back, and we have 2 veteran middles in, and so it's hard for me to say it's a rebuilding year. I don't know that's quite the right word, but I think what he's trying to do is he's saying, hey, we have these great freshmen. I want them to get this NCAA experience, and then I want to be able to build on that going forward. And if at the same time we finish, beat Illinois, or have a shot at Texas, just because we've beaten Illinois twice, I don't know that says anything, just because, we're a different team than when we played Illinois, and then Illinois is a different team since we played Illinois. So I think beating a team 3 times in a season is always a challenge. So it actually kind of makes me a little nervous. I don't like that feeling, especially since I don't know how can I be nervous or excited when I don't know who's starting and who's playing, and, that kind of thing. So like I said, it's kind of a different scenario that Nebraska's been in, but I think I'm just shedding light on the fact that it's different. It's weird. But that's where we're at. And, COVID did this to us, having these super senior teams coming back. And so that's just the state of the situation. And I think they've done a really good job of embracing it and making the most out of the season and seeing how far we can go.
Former Husker great Tanya Taki is our guest of Husker One, volleyball coach there. They do play Thursday night, 8:30, a late start against a team that they have beaten twice. What is Nebraska looking at versus Illinois on Thursday?
I really think, I actually watched the Illinois game, and Illinois just seemed to be clicking. And that's the only word I can use. They were just all in all cylinders. I don't know any of the girls' names, but they were just passing really well and defending really well, so that their setter was in a good position. Their setter was taking the ball really high, jump setting a lot of balls. She wasn't on the run. They just looked really clean when I watched them play. And so I just think that Nebraska is going to have to be that on our side. We're going to have to be clean, hit the ball in bounds, be as powerful as you can, hit the ball in bounds, and be as powerful as you can on serve and still serve in bounds. And then that's when it gets exciting. When we're passing well and serving well, then our hitters are given the chance to do great things. And I guess if they're not doing great things, somebody's coming off the bench to do great things for them. So, that's kind of where we're at for this weekend. And, then there's always Texas. So Texas, up until the last time we played them, has never passed well enough to beat us. And the last time we played them, which I think was in the tournament last year, we got knocked out by Texas. They just passed so well, we couldn't defend all 3 hitters every time. We're just not big enough. We weren't tall enough. We weren't reaching high enough to get any good blocks. And Texas, it's the first time I've seen a Texas team pass that well. So we'll see. If we have a shot at Texas, it's because we're serving so tough that their passing is just off.
Yeah, Nebraska is normally not going to beat teams with big hits, right? They're going to defend. They're going to pass at a high level. They're going to serve at a high level. That's kind of the recipe for John Cook.
Right. And that's what happened when, I don't know if you guys remember the Final Four when it was in Kansas City in 2017. It was my 40th birthday, so we were in Kansas City. We weren't supposed to win. Kelly Hunter, Michaela Fecky, they were younger, and we weren't supposed to win that game, those games. And to see them, beat Florida that has, 6'8" players, being able to do what they do against them, it really just came down to serving tougher than the other team. And then they can't set the 6'8" girls. And so that was really exciting to watch them do that as kind of a smaller team beat a bigger team. And that's actually what I'm talking to my 14 club team about right now, is that we might not be the tallest, biggest, strongest 14 team out there, but can we out team the other team? What can we do to, beat a team that's got bigger, taller, stronger hitters? Well, you hit it at the setter. If you hit at the setter can't set the big players. So those are the kind of things that Nebraska's going to have to do to beat Texas. And if we can take them out of system, then we got a shot at it. But it's just when they're that big and coming at us with 6 hitters like that, it's tough to do that 3 sets in a row to win the match.
Well, it's not uncommon to see girls that are 6'7", 6'8", as you mentioned in college volleyball. We've seen it from Stanford in the past. I think BYU's had a couple of girls like that. Wisconsin with Schreck, who is 6'9". What's the biggest girl you remember playing against? So what were the sizes? Have they grown dramatically since your day at Nebraska?
Yeah, so we played against Texas Tech, and they had a 6'8" girl who was really skinny. And I remember Kim Barron going up on a swing and knocking her to the ground. Like it was part of the replay, like highlight reel for the whole year. But when we were playing in club tournaments around the country, the Stanford player from Kansas, we watched her play since she's been 12, and you can just tell that she was 6 foot something as a 12-year-old, and she had coordination and she could swing. And I just think the way that the juniors volleyball is these days is that there's performance training specifically for volleyball. People are playing volleyball at kindergarten. You have a taller girl, you're going to put her in volleyball and basketball, and they're starting sooner. So I think what we're seeing is, the 6'8", 6'5" girls, they had parents that played volleyball. So they're second and third generation volleyball players, and they're just more coordinated. Back when I played, those super tall girls had never touched a volleyball until they were in high school, and they couldn't function as, walk and chew gum at the same time, which I might even put myself in that category sometimes. So I think you're just seeing more athletic, taller girls, if that makes any sense at all.
What are you, 6'2"? 6'2", 6'3"?
I am between 6'2" and 6'3", but after having kids, I'm definitely closer to the 6'2". I've kind of shrunk a little bit.
What's going on at Husker 1 these days?
So Nebraska 1, like I said, I'm coaching a 14 team and a 12 team this season, and so we're just starting preseason practices and just working through those girls on how to be a better team than maybe the other team. And then our classes just went online. So we started kindergarten, and I just posted all of our classes online last week, and you can register for the January 17th start of our session 1, and then session 2 starts in March to get those, super tall kindergartners playing a little volleyball.
Yeah, there you go. Tanya Taki, former Husker great, and now the head of Nebraska 1 as well, the head coach there. Great stuff this season. Hopefully it continues after this weekend, and we can talk some more next week.
Yes, if we're talking on the radio next week, good things had to happen.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. That would have meant they would have beaten Texas or Washington. And then, of course, Illinois for a third time, which will be difficult enough. Great stuff, Tanya. We'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Awesome. Thanks.
Tanya Taki of Nebraska 1. The girls are getting really tall, and they're good. I mean, and it's what she mentioned. A lot of times I think in the 90s when she was playing, girls would, play basketball, and then, maybe by the time you're a junior, senior, then you take up volleyball, or maybe even as a sophomore. Girls are taking up volleyball, that's now 4th, 5th grade or earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's become an industry unto itself.
Yeah, and especially in here in Nebraska, it's cool to see that happen. Creighton, by the way, one of the teams that was upset. There's only 2 teams that didn't make it, that were seeded to make it. Creighton was one of them. They lost to Kansas, who's now in the Sweet 16, and Kentucky, actually, the other one. Nebraska's matchup was supposed to be Kentucky, but Illinois beat them, and Illinois kind of surprised everybody by doing that. So the Big Ten, like it always does, dominating the Sweet 16. They have 6 of the Sweet 16 teams. That's more than anybody else.
That's impressive.
The next highest conference has 3.
So Nebraska, Purdue, let's see, obviously Wisconsin, Ohio State.
Yep.
I'm probably missing a few.
Minnesota and Illinois.
Minnesota and Illinois. There you go. That's 6. Well done. And all those teams. Penn State didn't make it. Although it was kind of an off year for Penn State.
And it would have been kind of cool to play Kentucky because they were the champions, so you could have knocked them off there. Yep. But Illinois did that for you. Now you have, I guess, you could say an easier path, a surprising path, but still the team that beat the defending champs is out in front of you.
Both Louisville and Kentucky are proteges. That's who runs those organizations, proteges of John Cook. I mean, he's got some assistants throughout the country that are just everywhere. Illinois, their head coach, slipping me, but she was at Nebraska as well. So John Cook, unlike Tom Osborne, where his assistants would just stay at Nebraska forever. Cook's assistants get the information and then they go somewhere else and they win.
Yeah.
And they win at a high level. That guy has a coaching tree that's a little ridiculous. It's really impressive. So there you go. As we mentioned, Miami finally fired Manny Diaz.
They just had to hire Mario Cristobal before they could do it.
They were doing interviews with Mario Cristobal the whole time that Manny Diaz was out recruiting. They finally fired him this morning. And then I guess, they've got Cristobal.
I like that. Nebraska should have taken that approach to say, we're going to go flirt around with people and see if we can pull anybody in. But until then, we're sticking with Frost.
That's just a bad look, isn't it?
It is.
That's a really bad look. But it also is weird to me still that Mario Cristobal thinks that he can win. Maybe I just don't know. I mean, it's different for Frost to leave UCF for a group of 5 gig for a power 5 gig. You're leaving a power 5 gig for another power 5 gig, but one power 5 gig is way better than the other. I mean, let's face it. Oregon is a way better job with Nike money right now than is Miami. I know Miami has talked a lot about renewing their facilities, making their facilities much better than they have been, and spending a lot of money in that area. And I know there must be some sort of guilt, if you will, from Mario Cristobal to go back home because he played there and he coached there. But that's a big risk with your career, I think.
It is. It's quite a big risk. But I mean, it just kind of, Miami's the perfect example of why Oregon, despite the Nike money, might not be like forever in place as a power. I mean, because that's what you thought about Miami. They were winning 5 different titles with 3 different coaches, or whatever it was in the 80s. And you just thought, with all the players that are around here, this will never fall down. But no program, is Teflon. No program can say that they're always going to be there. Alabama's, Oklahoma's, all these programs have their ups and downs. And I'm just fascinated to see what Oregon will do next, because Cristobal kind of seemed to steady them there after they kind of made some mistakes with their last coaching hire. So I don't know where they go from here. And if it's Chip Kelly, I just don't think I think that's wishing that it was 2010 again. I don't think it is.
They can get somebody good.
Yeah.
I would go right after Dave Aranda.
Yeah. I don't know if he would necessarily want to go there.
To
you
Oregon?
wonder about Big 12 instability. Well, it's the same thing you're just saying. I mean, Oregon's is stable. I get that, but coming off your first Big 12 championship in your second year, don't you think you might want to see what you have in Baylor? You're recruiting in Texas.
Yeah,
but you got your own things going on in Baylor that are pretty good.
Yeah, but it's a rather unstable conference. I mean, he's going to make it. He's going to be fine no matter what he does,
where he goes,
because he's a great coach and he's always going to find footing. But there's a little instability. I know you're bringing Cincinnati, some others to the Big 12 to try to, solve the problem of Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. I just think it's a big risk, Cristobal, leaving Oregon to go to it's been a bad job, and it's not like they have had bad coaches. Mark Richt was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was a really good coach at Georgia. He wasn't, Kirby Smart, but he was a really good coach, and he couldn't save it. And Manny Diaz, I thought was going to be good. But they've been through Al Golden.
They've been through a lot.
They've been through so many
Randy
coaches.
Shannon, a lot of guys.
It's not worked.
Yeah.
It's not worked at all. So, I mean, if you believe those other coaches are good, and I do, that went there and tried to save Miami, it tells me that that's not a great job. And maybe you could just say, well, we'll throw money at the problem with a great coach and better facilities. Good luck with that, because Nebraska's doing that, and it hasn't worked yet either.
Well, boy, the ACC needs it. College football always talk about how it's better when Nebraska's better. Yeah, I miss Miami and Florida State having key, ACC battles.
And Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, and USC.
Yeah, I miss hating Texas winning all the time.
Yeah, I want Texas to be good so I can hate them.
Yeah.
I just don't care right now as they are. Let's get to break, finish out with the pregame. Nick and Rico will be in here, and we'll talk to them about a variety of different topics. We'll do it coming up next.
To Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
The second largest indoor ag show in the U.S. It's the Nebraska Ag Expo, and it features more than 785 companies spread over 9.2 acres. This show brings all the latest innovations and greatest ag technologies that you need to increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Check it out December 7th, 8th, and 9th, the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. Register online for free admission at NebraskaAgExpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or come for Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Eggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience.
Get your win too by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
This year, show her she's the one with 1-carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1-carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love, with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1-carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple, Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool and Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool and Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool and Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
Venue at Home is your answer for locally made, freshly prepared meals delivered to your door every week. Our meals come ready to heat and eat. With sizes for 2 people or 4, Venue at Home is perfect for busy people who want a quick, easy, and delicious meal option to share with your roommates or feed the whole family. Add on from our wide selection of appetizers, sides, desserts, alcohol, and more. Receive a discount on your meals by subscribing to get Venue at Home delivered every week. Visit venueathome.net to order today. That's venueathome.net.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Text line says I'm wrong about Mark Richt and Miami. Had them at number 1. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? It was starting to go south a little bit. It wasn't quite what he had going at Georgia.
No, it was a good hire though for them.
It was a good hire.
Had health reasons,
and he did have some health reasons. He's a Nebraska guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's born in Omaha.
Yeah. So he was always mentioned whenever the Nebraska job would come open. Hey, look, the guys are here. Nick and Rico. Hi.
What's up, though? How's it going?
How are things? How you feeling?
Fantastic.
Are you excited about New England tonight?
Yeah, about to roll Buffalo. I gotta talk trash to Jay when he gets in here.
To Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's his team.
Do we really think that the Pats are going to win?
Yes,
I do.
Really?
6 in
Why
a row.
wouldn't you?
They've won 6 in a row.
Do you really think Buffalo's gonna win?
I do.
Why?
Because you want to start a fight.
Not really. I think Buffalo's a really good team.
And you don't think New England's a really good team?
I think New England's 1 year away.
They might lose some players next year.
They're going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah.
But I think they're 1 year away from really being a contender.
I mean, the AFC is garbage.
Exactly.
So I think they're sitting pretty right now.
They're a boring football team, but they can run, and I think they've got a rookie quarterback who knows what he's doing. I think this is a really good Belichick team.
You know it's not boring, Tom?
Winning?
Winning is not boring.
No, I prefer the Vikings where they always lose.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a
No,
second?
we don't have to talk about that. We don't have to
Bro.
take Tom into that.
No, go ahead.
Bro, what in the world?
They're terrible.
I knew.
I knew, of course, Detroit's terrible. They were 0-10 and 1, I believe, going into that game.
10 and 1.
And when they had the ball at the 50, I'm going, they're going to win this game. And there's only like 40 seconds left. And I just knew the Vikings would find a way to screw that thing away.
Who plays off coverage in the back of the end zone when a team is at like the 5?
That was like a zone.
What are you doing?
Soft zone.
Like they're just like, oh, well, as long as they can't throw it to the back of the end zone, we'll be fine.
Yeah. They were allowing anything underneath.
I'm on Ross
And
St. Brown.
by underneath, I mean 10 to 15 yards down the field.
They won over my Vikings 29-27.
Unreal.
In fact, in each of the Lions' last 4 wins, the game's winning score came with less than 2 minutes left. 3 of their last 4 wins came on the last play for Detroit. That's a bad football team. I mean, if they're going to win in the NFL, where a lot of games are close, they're going to have to win on the last play. But the Vikings beat them on like a 51-yard field goal in the first game. So I knew it'd be another close game.
I mean, they had him. They had him. The Vikings had him.
Is Mike Zimmer?
They let him off the hook.
Is Mike Zimmer the answer?
No.
Mike Zimmer is the question.
Mike Zimmer is not even a good defensive coordinator, and that's kind of why he was brought there early on. They were good.
That's hilarious.
But they're no longer good. And Mike Zimmer, who hooked his wagon to Cousins has not been the problem. Kirk Cousins has actually played very well this year. But he's not a guy that's ever going to win you a Super Bowl. He's just not that guy.
I think Kirk Cousins could win you a Super Bowl if you actually let him, if you let him run an offense.
You better have a great defense.
I've heard Schaefer enough where when the offense for the Vikings is just kind of let alone to run free and run quickly, that Kirk Cousins looks fantastic. But the way that Mike Zimmer wants to run it, he wants to slow it down and he wants to be methodical and work his way down the field. And Kirk Cousins is not that quarterback.
Every halftime interview with Mike Zimmer, he says, we got to run the ball. And he was basically yelling at his offensive coordinator through the media for every halftime interview, post-game interview. The guy's I just wouldn't want to work for him if I were an offensive coordinator. He hamstrings them all. So
I think if they get rid of Mike Zimmer and they bring in somebody that wants to run more of a free-flowing offense, I think the Vikings will look real good because they have surrounded Kirk Cousins with weapons, and they're just like, you know what you should do? Throw it 2 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Do the Vikings take a quarterback in the draft?
Well, I wanted to take move up in the draft and take Justin Fields last year, but I don't know that would have.
Same.
Yeah. They just the last guy they took in the top 10, I believe, was Christian Ponder.
Oh,
that did not work out.
Actually, Rico, you just said same. Would
Same.
you have rather had to looking back right now? Understanding that Justin Fields has been hurt, but obviously seeing Mac Jones, you would still take Justin Fields?
Probably not. No.
Okay, good choice.
Just because I don't know what Justin Fields and the Patriots would look like, and I know what Mac Jones and the Patriots look like.
Yeah.
But I wanted Justin Fields.
That's interesting.
Wandell has wished Nebraska well. Actually, he says he's hoping to win big in the Citrus Bowl. Who did they have in the Citrus Bowl?
Iowa.
It's a revenge.
Yeah, he's basically to spread a little love for Nebraska.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Wandale. It was on his Instagram story, and he took a screenshot of the graphic that they made and was like, "This one's going to be good for special for my boys back in Nebraska."
That's
Thank
cool.
you, Wandale.
So-
All of Nebraska will be watching Kentucky play Iowa.
I think we might cry if he wins, though. It doesn't that add to the. I mean, you're not cheering for Iowa, but at the same time,
Wandale was able to beat
watching
Nebraska.
Wandale, and then maybe next year Adrian goes out and gets a 9-3 team, and I think all this stuff is going to hurt more than celebrate.
Yeah,
I am here for pain.
Where do you want Adrian to go? I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I mean, I would love to see him at Kansas State.
I like Kansas
Because
State.
I watched the Big 12. I don't know that that's the best thing for his career. I could see him.
Really?
Like at UCLA. I think he'd do really well at UCLA.
I think he'd do great at Kansas State. They'll make a bowl game. They'll win about 8 games. It'll be great.
Yeah,
That's more than he's won in a season in Nebraska. So I think it's fine.
I like Kansas State as well. I mean, they'd be able to pair him with Deuce Vaughn in the backfield, who's an established running back, and in the Big 10 or Big 12 conference where it's a lot of offense. And in that offense, if you've watched Kansas State at all, in Chris Kleiman type offense, they don't ask the quarterback to do everything.
What happens in this scenario? Caleb Williams says, I'm transferring to USC to be with Lincoln Riley.
Mm-hmm.
And OU suddenly has an open position at quarterback available. There's Adrian Martinez at Oklahoma appearing in Lincoln next year.
Or there's just any other quarterback because it's Oklahoma.
That would rip my heart out.
I have joked about this. You guys were talking about it earlier, what Georgia would look like with a good quarterback. I was like, dude, just throw Adrian in Georgia and look how much better. I can just imagine how much better they would be.
With Adrian and Zamir White and James Cook.
Yeah, give Adrian that
Holy
offensive
cow.
line, that running game, and those wide receivers. He's good to go.
Can we talk about why they didn't use George Pickens?
Yeah, I don't.
Why
I don't
was
know.
George Pickens invisible after his first catch?
He's still recovering.
Because
I
he's
suppose.
he's just invisible.
The first thought I had was, is he related to Bruce Pickens, who played at Nebraska? I mean, that's how your mind
Yeah.
wanders. And no, he's not.
Is he related to Boone Pickens?
That's right. Is he picking or grinning? That's a hee-haw joke. But yeah, I hope he ends up somewhere where he can win a championship, Adrian. You say it'll be painful. It won't be for me. It won't be for me at all.
Just wait till Nebraska's 3-9 and Adrian's 9-3, and you.
3-9. I've been watching Adrian all season. I don't care.
It
So,
might be more painful.
what's your take on Brett Venables quickly to Oklahoma?
I think it'll be good. I don't know. I don't know. He's a great defensive mind. The Big 12 isn't really known for defense except for the last couple of years. Oklahoma's amazing athletes, so I think he'll be able to do something with that as long as he gets a good offensive
Worked out for
coordinator.
Baylor with Dave Aranda. I think it's going to work out for Oklahoma.
As long as he gets an offensive coordinator, he's good.
I'm interested in the Clemson side of it. They're kind of losing a few members of that staff that Dabo's stuck there.
That's right.
What's going to happen with Joe Brady?
Yeah, where's he going to go?
Coming
I
to
think he's
Lincoln.
back to college.
Offensive coordinator.
Caleb
at Lincoln.
Williams loves Joe Brady.
I say Joe Brady was rumored to Oklahoma to keep Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But I don't think Caleb Williams is going anywhere. I don't know.
Stephen M. Sipple was on our show earlier today. He said we're going to be really pleased if some of the hirings that he's hearing actually happen.
What does it mean,
What does it
Tom?
all mean,
What
Basil?
does it mean?
That's it for the pregame. Happy hours coming up next with Rico and Nick. Bye-bye.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com.